There we go. Sorry. Everything is being very slow on Streamlabs' end for some reason. Streamlabs is not the fastest software, as it were. Also realize that I'm framed poorly. There we go. Everything should be good now. How we doing, guys? How's everybody in the chat doing? I know that it's Monday. Monday's kind of below. You know what? Let's make this part a little easier for everyone. How about that? Is that easier to hear now? Wanted to go ahead and make sure that you could actually hear. Right? Should be good now? Okay, cool. My grad said Walsh is also streaming and you're making us choose. Yeah, but the difference between me and Walsh is that I only stream usually on Mondays and Thursdays on my channel. Walsh streams all the time. So, I stream when I can. So I am sorry that I am making you choose between me and Walsh. Though, you could always put us both up at the same time. That's a thing we can do. I don't think there's actually an ability to raid a stream effectively with the way this is all set up. Anywho, pop out of there. Pop out of there. Pop out of there. There we are. So, what's everybody doing this morning? Afternoon, I guess, realistically. It might eventually, but I haven't been able to actually harvest any content from the last few screens at all, which has kind of made it a lot harder for me to get work done over here. So, as much as I don't mind it devolving into a puppy stream, I also like being able to make my workload not suck. So, okay. I think I've got everything set as well as it can be right now. Whew. Both would be very confusing. Yeah, this is fair. You just woke up so it feels like morning to you? I know how that is. Oh shit, what server shelled? What server are you talking about? I'm confused. I am very confused. Oh, okay. That's right. I forgot you played Final Fantasy for a second there. Alright. Let's move that there. That there. Get that popped and ready to go. Alright. So hopefully everybody is having a wonderful time so far. I'm going to give it just a little bit longer for some people to populate into the chat. Is Pupper sleeping? Pupper is sleeping. I took her out for about an hour, so she should be a little... should be a little tired, realistically. I know that for those who don't know, or for those who don't check Twitter, I may have been getting into some Twitter fights today, and it was, whew, they were fun. Spicy, but fun. Let me see if there's anything else in here. Checking to see if there's anything else on Twitter, any other fights. The person actually didn't realize. Okay. Okay. My last thing I said to them is that we didn't have a debate. And they said, no, it was a debate. And I'm not about to repeat myself. So I went, okay, well, you seem to love this method, so let's use it. And I just posted the definition of debate, which, of course, a Twitter fight doesn't really constitute. And then she goes, well, we are in a public area. Twitter's a public area. Like, a public area doesn't entail a public meeting, which is part of that definition you seem to like to stick to. And she goes, I've already chatted with you, so there's no need. And I sarcastically went, and you've demonstrated an immense capacity for rational discourse. To which they responded with yes. I guess not realizing that I'm I'm insulting them. Bella says, hey, is everybody okay? Everybody okay in service? I just want to make sure everyone's doing fine. Also giving some support for the day. Well, thank you for the support. Everything is fine over here. I mean, we've got bills to pay and stuff, so that kind of sucks, but that's literally everybody's reality all the time. That said, if you guys want to see where we are in that venture, I actually have the... Sorry, nose is still screwing up. I actually have where we are on the bills and stuff thing down below. We received, to be fully transparent with everybody, we did also receive a donation, but that ended up going towards groceries because we were also, we cooked up the last of the meat, about right before the power went out. Then we got groceries, then the power went out for 18 hours. Luckily, we didn't lose anything, but, why does that keep itching? It's like the nose itch doesn't start until the stream goes live. And once the stream goes live, it's just nose itch all the time. Like, holy crap. I also just got some messages letting me know that I'm going to be getting some new books coming in, apparently. Ooh. Okay, cool. I'll go ahead and exit out of that so I don't have to hear every single thing going on. Because that would be really, really unfortunate if I had to hear practically everything going on the entire time. No, I don't want to hear myself. Twitch, go away. I don't want to listen to you, Twitch. I don't. I really don't. Like, of all the things I want to do, listening to myself is really low on that list. Truly and honestly so. I'd rather not. Alright. Shut up, Cirrus. Let Cirrus speak. Is there a difference between compersion and empathy? Well, yes. Empathy has to do with being able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, whereas compersion has to do with feeling elation at somebody else's emotions of happiness. Like, for instance, compersion has to deal specifically with positive emotions, whereas empathy can deal with positive, negative, etc. It's just about being able to temporarily, vicariously live through somebody. The itch is God's punishment for you. Speaking of Walsh, I watched your conversation with Walsh on anime. It was fun seeing you both point out transphobic arguments. Yeah, I wish that, like, truth be told, I wish that I could do more work with Walsh, but he hates doing work with people that he actually, like, agrees with. And that, while I understand, because he loves debate, he loves discourse, he likes getting down in the mud and fighting, while I get that, it also still makes me kind of sad because I'm like, but I want to work with you more. Like, but it's fine. That's fine. That's just me lamenting that. Elsewise, that'll be all right. Make sure is everything else in here perfectly fine and set. Cool. It is. Can open relationships use terms like nesting partner and primary? I mean, yeah. You can have, in an open relationship, by its definition, you have a primary partner. Generally speaking, you'll have a nesting partner. It's just your freedom outside of that that's determined in the open relationship status. But usually, yeah, there is a primary partner designated. Which is pretty basic there. But, why? That was a weird feeling. You've been cursed by being too agreeable with Walsh. Maybe you and him debate Carl together. He gets screwed by having two Chud moderators again. I will try. If he wants to do a duo debate, that's fine, but I don't like duo debates too terribly much. I feel like having just one-on-one with a good moderator is generally acceptable. Like, Nick Suter is a good moderator, and he's usually who I would suggest. But that's just my thought there. How's Growlithe? Growlithe is okay. But Walsh gets canceled 3 times a day. You're not wrong. Walsh does get canceled about 3 to 4 times a day. This is not news. T-Griff says, I want to know what these Twitter fights from today are. I have checked Twitter several times, but I haven't seen anything. Okay, well, let's go over the Twitter fight then. Let's do that. You know what? Why not? We'll go over the Twitter fight first, and then after we go over the Twitter fight, then, and only then, we'll get into the content, the actual meat of the conversation, if that works for everybody. Let me scroll down and find where the fight actually began. Okay. Actually, you know what? Easiest thing for me to do. I'll just go to my profile, and I'll see where we first did our fight. All right. Here we are. Okay. Let's go to this screen, as this is where we get to do all the fun stuff. And let's pop this over here. There we are. Hey, okay, so everybody knows, one of my friends sent me this lovely, lovely tweet here. Y'all ever wonder how polyamorous people are able to justify in their minds, misspelling of their, that's fine, that they're being equally loved when their partner is sleeping with over 9,000 others in their stead? Okay. So I said, hey, poly person here with 3 partners. Figured a tweet like this was just begging for perspective. And of course, where is it? They did actually respond in here somewhere. Wait, where is their response? I'm like 90% certain that there was a response in here. Hold up. Why is my response not there? Hold on. Notifications. I guess we scroll down the notification feed. We will try to find that fight. The rest of that fight. I know it's in here. I know for a fact it's in here. Where? I just want to see my fight. I'm so bad at navigating Twitter. Would it be... You know what? Actually, I think I know what I have to do. I have to go to profile, tweets, and replies, right? How far are you in PH? You get a toaster chapter 16. I'm still at 2. I haven't had time to sit down and get through chapter 3 yet. I'm sorry, David. Thank you for the $45 donation. And I know about the toaster at chapter 16. You've said that to me before. But I did just finish... Oh, hello. Did a few seconds. Super chatted. Mike Swan, Miles Swan has followed. Marmony has followed. Thank you guys for the follows. Thank you very much. Oh, I see what happened. Jeff Holiday raiding with a party of 34. Thanks for the raid, Jeff. This explains so much. This explains everything. All of the raids, or the raid itself. This is all Jeff's fault. I can blame Jeff for this. Okay, tweets and replies. We must find where this battle begun. Or began. Began, that's the word. There we go. Alright, here's where we actually began the fight. Because Aaron responded, first of all. That's the first thing. Okay, so Aaron responds to this Queen Strong person, Queen Outrage. Poly person here with 2 partners and a meta. I consented to this, and I know they won't cheat. I trust them. I also recognize that they are also my caretakers for disabilities, and if I don't trust someone with that, I'm not dating them. But let me go over how we got to this point. Cirrus and Raz took me into their home. They have another partner, Gaelic. I admit to having feelings for them. We built a friendship at first. The friendship has a lot of boundaries. I was fine with that. After about 6 months of this, I asked if it was if it was possible to date the people I cared about in a romantic sense. We all knew we were all poly, so we asked Emmett if we could try to date. Please note, to even get to that state, we had built up a lot of trust. They also learned about my physical disabilities and how to care. Polyamory demands high levels of trust, but we all consented to this relationship as adults. It's not cheating. All right. So now we get to have fun now. We get to have lots of fun with the next part of this, right? So, Queen Strong responds, it's cheating. Denying that it's cheating takes away from what cheating is. It also goes against the definition. This part right here is going to be really important for the conversation going forward. Watch. Because what they end up doing is sticking to this dichotomy of saying that if it doesn't adhere to the definition, it's perfect. This person's actually a prescriptivist. Linguistic prescriptivists get on my nerves. So, let's figure out why. So I said, actually, let's try rubbing two brain cells together before we say dumb stuff. Cheating involves violating rules, and if your relationship structure has rules set in place that allow multiple partners within reason, then by definition, it's not cheating, as no rules have been broken. Hey, dumbass, no it doesn't. That's a rule you invented. Infidelity, the action of being unfaithful to a spouse or sexual partner. Okay. So, where's the rest of this lovely thread here? I believe there was somebody who mentioned that there was a... If they looked up the definition of unfaithful, they wouldn't enjoy that. So, let's try that. What does unfaithful mean? If we want to play the definition game, right? Not faithful, false to duty, obligations, or promises. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait, that's weird. Because, let's do it this way. Engaging in sexual relations with a person other than one's regular partner in contravention of a previous promise or understanding. But wait, hold on. Didn't I just say in there that if the rules allow for it, so a previous understanding, then it's not cheating? That seems to be something that I laid out in my definition. And if we use their word, unfaithful, and we stick to the dictionary strictly, which seems to be their goal, what have we found? Well, we have found that the actual definition of unfaithful pans out exactly as I said it would. Okay. Sure. But it's fine. Because... let's see here. So, I decided that I would retweet this and say, well, who invented the rule that you're posting? Someone invented that rule. This is the is-odd dilemma. It's a pretty basic thing in argumentation. Are you familiar with it? If anybody here understands, like just for a basic thing, the is-odd dilemma is whether or not you can get an ought from an is. So an is would be an established law, as an example. Is because there's an established law, can we get an ought from there? So, as an example, if the law says slavery is good, or slavery is legal, when we're determining our oughts, our things that are normative, our things that we should be striving for, can I say that, well, because slavery is legal, slavery is good? No, I can't. That's an absolutely stupid take. But as it turns out, this is the reason why the is-ought dilemma is important. You do not derive your oughts from your ises. You derive your ises from your oughts. You determine, we ought live in a world where slavery doesn't exist, so we establish a law that abolishes slavery, thus creating a new is. Our ought always comes first. You do not work from an is and pull an ought from that. So, at least when we're talking about morals. Now, if you're talking about actions, it's different. You can say that the law says, don't do X, and so therefore I ought not do X, so as not to receive punitive action. But that's not what the is-ought dilemma is dealing with specifically. It's dealing with whether or not something is actually moral, like the ontology of morality. So, continuing on with the Twitter silliness, it's the literal meaning of the word. But of course, I'm an asshole, so I respond with, words don't have meanings, they have usages. What matters is utility, and your argument doesn't have that. Which, again, is important, because words don't actually have meaning. They don't. They have utility, they have usage, they have things that we ascribe to them so that you and I can communicate together. We can have a chat, we can have a conversation, but the words themselves don't have an intrinsic meaning. Just what we're ascribing to them. This is a thing that most linguists understand, and most people who've had debates about linguistics understand pretty easy. But anyway, where did the rest of this fight continue? Where did the rest of this fight continue? Well, let's ignore the rest of the fight for half a second to admire this picture that I found while going through old Batman Beyond episodes of Derek Powers, aka Blight, eating a ham sandwich. I don't know why seeing somebody irradiated and villainous just sitting there eating a sandwich in a corner was funny to me, but it was. Anywho. So, here's where we get to some of the fun fight. So I tweeted, tell you what, you seem to be very sold on this idea of dying on the hill of not only prescriptivism, linguistic prescriptivism, but also of being very anti-polyamory. Is this something you feel strongly enough to debate about with your mouth words as opposed to your finger words? Because if you've ever had a debate over typing, it can get very heated very quickly, because there's a bit of dehumanization, or not desensitization to the fact that the person on the other end is human, that goes on. A lot of times your more productive discussions happen when you are speaking with your voice. If you're speaking with your voice, you're confronted with the fact that the person you're dealing with is in fact a real person. And if things get just as heated then, you know, whatever. It happens. You're human. You're flawed. And people get angry all the time. But having that conversation face to face generally helps alleviate some of that problem. So, what do we have when I say that? Words have meanings. Definitions don't change whenever you feel like they should. But, wait a minute. Definitions do change. This is how language works. Like, And granted, there's a lot of other side conversations happening during this. Inane Dragon was fighting with her as well. A bunch of other people were having a conversation about, for instance, the definition of a road, where they said a road involves the ability to drive on it with a car. You can't define a road without saying that. But that was a really dumb take, and that got taken down as well. But I pointed out that you haven't said yes or no to the debate. And you've also demonstrated that you have no idea how language works. And that's cool. Oh, wait, shit, hold on, I'm sorry. I can't actually say cool. It can't be cool because cool has a distinct meaning, and it's axiomatic and cannot change. Except in the 30s, when cool changed meaning. Because none of us were alive in the 30s, right? None of us were. At least I assume so, unless some of you are like demigods. Or just much older than the demographic that YouTube thinks watch my channel. So for those who don't know, cool right now can be either a temperature or it can mean something that is popular, right? So if I say, hey guys, just so you guys know, Legos are cool. Legos are popular. Legos are neat. Cool has those meanings. It didn't have those meanings before 1930. 1930 is when the language changed to adapt, or officially changed, like officially adapted into dictionaries, cool to mean something other than a type of temperature. That is an example of how language works. Road didn't have anything to do with vehicles, but the word road existed before we had vehicles. Like, words are nothing more than arbitrary ideas that we use for communication. They only have power and they only have meaning insofar as we try to ascribe that meaning onto them. You don't get to tell me what the meaning of a word is axiomatically, because an axiomatic meaning of a word doesn't exist. We can talk about agreed upon definitions, like cool, but that's what we can do. That's really all we can do there. We can't do much more than that. So, continue on. Oh, there's no more of their... Nothing else there. Aha. Sorry, I'm trying to find all the different branching areas in which this has gone on. So, my friend Wolfred is in this fight with them as well. Pointed out that her... Sorry, I have things stuck in my throat. Her criticisms are extremely harsh, and the accusations were that we're all unfaithful and cheating, and that's basically shitting on people. She goes, harsh criticism doesn't mean shitting on someone. It equals harsh criticism. Okay, so, does anybody understand what the problem with the statement, harsh criticism equals harsh criticism? Does anybody understand what's wrong with that particular statement if we were to try to break it down logically? The problem with that statement is that harsh criticism equals harsh criticism is a tautology. It means nothing. It's like when somebody says, the Bible is true because the Bible says it's true. It's a tautology. It's a completely circular statement. We can gain nor lose anything from evaluating the statement, except our time. A lot of time. So, also in the Twitter chat, one person says, so you're cool with saying the N-word. So I personally don't use it in my vocabulary because I'm of the opinion that when you use language frequently in private, it works its way into your public discourse. You also desensitize yourself to any of the negative effects that language has. I'm not going to use something that I think diminishes the utility of my language. So using a slur is something that I try not to do. Just like I won't use the R slur for the same reason. Do I think there's something morally inherently bad with saying a word that's dirty? No, not necessarily, especially not in private when nobody's listening. But again, I also know that habits inform actions. So if I were to habitually say that word privately, then eventually I would say it publicly. And that's not a slippery slope thing, that's just us being humans. Our brains don't distinguish private and public very well. So, I said Twitter chat, I meant Twitch chat, sorry. Yeah, no, that's my thoughts on it. So, if you want to use it in private, I'm not telling you you're the most horrible person in the world, but I am going to let you know that you are informing some of your actions going forward, and if you accidentally let it slip out in public, that's because you kept using it in private. You built up a habit, and then it materialized. Twitter handle is @SirSkeptic. For Dan in the chat. Okay, continuing on. So, when they say you're dating 4 other people at the same time, that means that you're sharing them. Cheating might be a poor choice of words. So we actually see that they're starting to budge on this a little bit. So he says, take out the word poly and replace it with the word gay. I bet that you wouldn't appreciate some of the fundamentalist Christians saying the same things to you. The arguments are very similar. So it's interesting that you're set on dying on this hill. You should debate Cyrus. Which is true. Okay, so he said, no, polygamy is not the same thing. Gays aren't seeing 10 people at once. So, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but there are gay people who are seeing more than one partner. Just like there are straight people seeing more than one partner. Hello. So, anyway. Next person goes, or I respond with, this is an interesting conversation, but we weren't talking about polygamy. Let's not bait and switch. So you were trying to falsely equate polyamory / polygamy to being gay. It's a dishonest comparison since they aren't the same thing. They entail completely different things. But if you know how analogies work, analogies are analogous because they're not perfect representations. It's what makes an analogy an analogy. Like, so it's an analogy, an attempt to showcase your engagement in the same style of bad faith arguments that are used against gay couples, which in turn were the same used against mixed race couples, as it so happens. Analogies aren't perfect. That's what makes them analogies. It's a false equivalence. The two share 0 similarities. Really? Because I happen to love Raz. I happen to have relationship with Raz and relations with Raz. We happen to spend tons of time together when we get the opportunity, and the same goes for Aaron, the same goes for Emmett, though I need to spend more with them, something I recognize. So, hold on a minute. Hold on. By their rules, since they share no similarities, if that is my poly relationship, then a gay relationship cannot involve spending time with one another, cannot involve loving another partner, cannot involve even having a relationship with someone, because by their definition, a poly relationship and a gay relationship share zero similarities. Wait a minute. Hold on. I realize the nightmarish stupidity of the words that came out of my mouth. The problem is, I don't think this person understands that at all. Like, even in the slightest bit. So, that said, I am essentially done with that particular conversation because I've asked them if they wanted to do a debate as well, and they've said that they don't need to because they've already debated me, even though that's not really a thing either. Like, we didn't debate. We had an argument. Debates aren't arguments. Debates can evolve into arguments, yes, and arguments can evolve into debates. But debates and arguments are not the same thing. So, anywho, for anybody who was wondering what the Twitter fight was, that's what the Twitter fight was. Fun little bits of Twitter drama. Nothing, like, worth analyzing too terribly much, because I've learned that if you're a linguistic prescriptivist, conversations with you really won't go very well, because by having the stance on prescriptivism, you already are against, like, literally all linguists that exist. So, now that we have had our little bit of enjoyment there, let's move into something a little different. Maybe a little more enjoyable. Maybe a little cringy. So this was submitted to me by a user in my Discord. And this is trying to date in 2019. So apparently, and this is from, if you don't know, this is from PragerU. So we're going to find out about what dating is like in 2019 from PragerU. That's going to be interesting. Also, in the chat, Undead Slayer says, have you ever considered debunking Sargon of Akkad? So I'm starting to move away from finding content to debunk, because it's a huge time sink for me to listen to, like, if I have to listen to 5 to 10 Lauren Chen videos, then 5 to 10 Computing Forever videos, then 5-10 videos from the Hodge twins, I'll start to go absolutely mad because I'm doing nothing but watching content I hate instead of watching anything that I enjoy. So, my hope going forward is that people who are watching, viewers, you guys, will start to send me more and more videos that I can respond to, ideally between the 3 and 8 minute mark. That way it's something that I can cover reasonably well on a stream or reasonably well in a video. So, if you want to send me stuff on the What Should I Respond To channel in my Discord, then that would be preferable. That would be awesome. I would be very thankful for that. It also prevents me. It prevents me from going completely and totally insane in trying to respond to things or finding things to respond to. That's, oh boy, it's maddening. If I have 200 people sending me videos and they've all had to watch 10 each, it's better than me having to go through 2,000 videos, which is the equivalent there, in order to get the responses. Oh my god. What do I decide what to cover on streams versus in a video? If I have a very visceral gut reaction to something that I watch, I'll do a video over it instead, because it means that there's something more to analyze probably. But if I have a bunch of stuff that I think it might not have a lot of substance, but it certainly can work as something we can use as a conversation, then I'll probably incorporate that into a stream. It really honestly depends. Or if it's something I want to cover with another creator and neither of us have time to make an official collaboration, because those take a lot of time, then when that happens, I will probably work that into a stream where me and the other creator can go over that, like what me and Walsh did, like what me and Pig Puncher did, like what me and Digital Hammurabi did, all of those, and also what me and Jimmy have done in the past as well. All that stuff was set to stream due to time constraints. Marshalik says, I bet it's some purity shit or Me Too fear-mongering. Oh, it's I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to spoil anything for you. I don't want to depress you that much. So, let's go ahead and look at the first video by our lovely pals over at PragerU. Mismatched, a PragerU short, which implies that these were two people that didn't need to be dating in the first place. But, bad titles, Prager. Bad titles.
Howdy.
Hi, you must be Will.
I'm Will.
I'm Jordan. Nice to meet you.
Jordan.
Generally speaking, I'm a pretty average young woman in America. I'm a social justice activist. I attend a lot of climate change rallies. And when I'm not working to advance the causes of socialism, I write postmodernist feminist slam poetry.
Okay. So all that tells me is that this is... Okay, so what would my impressions of this person be in the very beginning? Bear in mind, I've actually dated somebody like this before. So, it was actually my first interaction with this more, like, extreme side of things. So, my first impression seeing this person would be, hey, you obviously have a lot of interests, and they're all very political. Do you perhaps have any interests that are apolitical? Anything that you can use to maybe get away from stuff like this? Because this is the type of thing that can develop into an obsessive idea, right? If you're constantly worried about activism, you're constantly worried about climate change, you're constantly worried about these things, then you will end up hyper-focusing on those things, and it can become incredibly unhealthy. So I would say that, hey, are there any other things that you enjoy as well? Not there's anything wrong with the things you do enjoy. Those things are all cool. But it seems like maybe you might not have a whole lot of balance. But that's not what Prager's trying to do here. PragerU is trying to frame this as in, hey, if anybody is concerned with these things, they're unreasonable. They're an unreasonable person. You're not going to enjoy your time with them. Except, that's kind of... I did, up until the last year, I did enjoy the relationship I had with the person who was like this, because we got to have many debates, because I was on the opposing end of most of these issues before. I didn't agree with anything that they said before until we had discussions and discussions over years, and I started analyzing this stuff. It allowed me to be incredibly introspective. Not to speak ill of my exes. So, again, while my first impression would be you don't seem to have a balance between leisure and activism, the activism that this person is engaging in, I don't see as a problem. Like, at all.
This looks good.
Okay, so... maybe that... Okay, I know I'm overanalyzing what's supposed to be a comedy skit. It's a comedy skit, right? So it's not supposed to be taken super literally, but I also know it's PragerU, so giving charity is not something I'm about to do, because they don't deserve it. So, if your date says, hey, I am interested in X, Y, and Z, and you realize that you're not interested in X, Y, and Z, there's a couple things you can do. Thing A, suck it up and have a conversation with it anyway, or with the person anyway. I meant to say about it anyway, and then I meant to also say with the person, and it came out as with it. Yay, brain. So have a conversation with the person anyway, because it is highly likely, that there are interests of yours that you have that this person will not share as well. And you two can either educate each other on your interest, you might find something new, or you might have to do a give and take in conversation where 10 minutes of conversation, talk about climate change activism, talk about postmodernism. Hey, ask her, hey, so I understand that you try to promote socialism, but why is that? Because if you're a capitalist and she's a socialist, obviously you two have different ideas. Or, she brought up slam poetry. Say, hey, I know you write slam poetry, but does that mean that you also perform it? Do you go to any events and perform slam poetry? Like, you can still get information out of this person instead of just going, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't. Like, also, let's point out that Prager frames this as that's how the relationship begins, with him just dismissing any of the things that she likes, and then their relationship continues on, apparently.
Oh, something smells like disgusting.
Oh, it's probably me. I haven't showered in a month to conserve water.
Silly.
So, that one, I got two things to say. One, shower more often than a month. Come on. Hygiene's important. You're going to get yourself sick. It's also kind of gross. Like, it's really inconsiderate of the people around you. When I was working at Quick Trip, when I used to be an employee there, I was a manager there. We actually did have a manager who didn't shower for weeks on end, and you could tell as soon as they opened the door that, oh, he's in. I'm not going to say his name for obvious reasons, but you could tell when he was coming in just based on the smell. But here's the other thing I need to say. That doesn't happen that often. And by that often, I mean almost at all. Most people around you generally have okay to average hygiene. Like, they might not be great, it might not be amazing, but it is at least hygiene. Whereas this is a complete, lack of hygiene. Also,
Probably me. I haven't
can we say that if she hasn't showered in that long just to conserve water,
showered in a month to conserve.
her hair would not be like that. Like,
Oh, something
look at her
smells
hair.
like disgusting.
Oh, it's probably me. I haven't showered in a month to conserve water.
Her hair would not be like that. Her hair would not be like that after a few days. It's a giant straw man. Like, over and above the fact that, yeah, this is something that I would find concerning in a partner, past that, the likelihood of you encountering somebody like this, when this video is called Trying to Date in 2019, as if dating is just like this anyway, awkward. Also, let's point out that they specifically show only the woman as being the unreasonable person, whereas the guy, of course, it's PragerU, Paragons of Masculinity, they're showcasing, oh, he's the reasonable one. He has to be. He's got the dick, according to PragerU.
See what we got. Ooh, Pocahontas?
You realize that's one of the most racist movies in the Disney industry.
Okay, but if she doesn't want to watch it because of that... Wait, so this means that this person actually does media analysis, right? That's a conversation. That's a whole conversation that you can have. Like, that's literally just... okay. So when she says that, hey, Pocahontas, the movie, is incredibly racist, you can then have a conversation with her about, okay, so you say that it's racist. Let's dig into that. So instead of spending today watching a movie, let's spend today having a conversation about media analysis and about representation and about how certain things are or aren't important. And you can get into things like how the Pocahontas story isn't actually as racist as she might think, because the entire story is a classical tale called Who's the Savage. It's a very, very common trope. You can look it up. Who's the Savage is a story where you have a primitive society that are shown to be the savages, but over the course of the story, when you see the more technologically advanced, usually invading civilization, you can see that the invading civilization is actually the immoral set of savages, whereas the primitive civilization that was framed as the savages turns out are actually very honorable. You can do that. You can have those types of conversations based on this, as opposed to just dismissing, which seems to be what's actually happening in PragerU's analysis. They're just completely dismissing the other person instead of going, okay, how is Pocahontas racist? All right, are you familiar with the Who's the Savage trope? Let's have a chat about that. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a night sitting on the couch talking to each other about media and the different ways in which media is framed. But again, it's PragerU. It's PragerU. So nuance isn't their best thing.
Lord of the Rings, have you seen it?
The movie with perhaps the most all-white male cast ever. Honestly,
Lord of the Rings having an all-white male cast, except that the books also had generally lighter-skinned people in it as well for the most part. So that's what you would expect, which, again, if you want to have a conversation about should we replace people in film just because we don't have as much representation as you think we should, then that's an interesting conversation to have. There are certainly instances where you shouldn't. But again, I don't think that the cast was all white. Hold on. Do 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 do. In Middle Earth, must all hobbits be white? Hold on. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. So no, it's been years since I've seen it, but yeah, it seems that there is a very minuscule representation. But again, that is a conversation that can be had. You guys can have a chat about that, about whether representation makes a story better. When is representation necessary? What is the difference between a gender swap and a whitewash? Or not gender swap, but a race swap and a whitewash. You can do that. You can have that conversation. It may be uncomfortable for you if you've never considered these things before, but guess what? I spent years having those conversations, and it was some of the most enjoyable time ever. It's helpful.
how dare you suggest that?
Probably.
How dare you suggest... Okay, so this sounds like if these two people were dating, and I get that I'm over-analyzing comedy at this point, insofar as we can even call it comedy. But while analyzing this, all I can see is that this entire relationship began with this guy dismissing this girl, and then her continuing to say, "Yeah, no, let's see if things will improve. Let's see if we can actually continue forward," with just utter dismissal. So we have a person, we have the female character who's fixated on social justice. And then we have the male character who's dismissive and doesn't actually pay attention to his partner. And that sounds like you've got a recipe for an abusive relationship on both ends. So the fact that PragerU is framing this as the guy is reasonable when he's actually engaging in harm for his partner by completely dismissing anything that she is saying, or not partner at this point, I guess they're just dating. But still, what he's doing is not being honest. He's dismissing her constantly. That's not healthy. It's not healthy for the guy either. But that's not how Prager frames it. Realock says, pish posh relationships are supposed to be just two people agreeing. Bull crap. Absolute bull crap. Thank you for the $5 donation, and I know that wasn't jest.
I'm gonna get the steak and the extra cheesy mac and cheese.
Wow, okay. Not vegan, good to know.
This is one I actually agree with. I'm gonna get some people in my audience upset, but when a vegan tells me that I must also be vegan and then engages in shaming, that pisses me off. Now, granted, I have not really met vegans who do this that often. I know they exist. I know they do. And even vegans who I have disagreed with publicly about how they are engaging in activism for veganism, Alex O'Connor, Cosmic Skeptic, is one of them, I have sat down for a meal with Cosmic Skeptic and other creators at the same time. This wasn't just me and Alex. But I sat down for a meal and didn't hear a single comment about what I was eating during the meal. Nor did I hear them comment to anybody else at the table about what they were eating during the meal. So, again, this doesn't really happen all that often, but PragerU doesn't care about whether it happens all that often. They care about taking whatever the extreme is and saying, this is what dating is like.
No, too white. Too sexist. Too heteronormative.
Okay, so if you don't want to watch a sexist movie, that's understandable, right? Like, you don't want to watch a movie that's literally just going to make you uncomfortable the entire time. Cool. But if you are a male and a female, and you are dating, then I'm assuming they are. PragerU doesn't really deal in, like, the difference between gender and sex, so I would have to assume that they're both male and female, just because Prager and nuance don't go together very well. So Prager would be framing this as, yeah, no, she doesn't like this being heteronormative. And yet she's also heterosexual, like she is the target audience. Or I don't know if she's hetero, but I would assume, based on Prager, that this character is. So, I don't know. It just seems really, really inaccurate. And I get, again, it's comedy. It's not supposed to be analyzed this much, but they had a literal team of propagandists build this, so I'm going to pick it apart anyway.
You use plastic straws?
Okay, so this one I've actually had personal experience with. Okay, so I used to be a type of person that said that, well, even if you took plastic straws away from people, it wouldn't inconvenience them too terribly much. Also, if the plastic straws were offered at the restaurant, most people are just going to use the plastic straws. I have been in a situation where I've been at a restaurant and a friend of mine has said, oh, they use paper straws. That's amazing. And everybody at the table, because we all live with Pr0n, and I don't want to get into her disabilities. That's her business, not mine. But one of the things that she has pointed out to me and educated me on is the fact that plastic straws have the ability to bend, which most other straws do not really have the ability to do very well. And that alone is one of the most important things about those straws. Also, because they are plastic, bacteria doesn't grow on them and in anywhere near the capacity that they can on paper straws. This means that people who have autoimmune disorders and people who have problems with energy or problems getting up can actually enjoy drinks when they are laying down without having to worry about being tainted by them because of bacteria growth. These are very important things. Even metal straws. We actually have some metal straws at the house. Metal straws usually don't bend down to the extent that they need to when somebody is lying down. So again, somebody's got a disability. It prevents them from moving terribly much. Can't really benefit from a metal straw. And even so, metal straws are also not super ideal for people who have autoimmune disorders because it's very hard to clean a metal straw completely versus disposing of a plastic straw and grabbing a new one that is already clean. So this one, I recognize that PragerU, this is one of the few things they're doing that actually is accurate, and I personally have encountered something like this on more than one occasion. So, they're all, also, yeah, metal in general is dangerous as well, because if you've got somebody, as an example, let's say somebody is prone to seizures, right? And their teeth snap shut when this happens. If they have a metal straw that cannot yield to their teeth, the metal straw can crack their teeth. It can just straight up break the tooth. Whereas a plastic straw will conform to the teeth. The paper straw might be destroyed in this process, or at least the end that you're trying to get to, and now you have a choking hazard, whereas the plastic straw generally would just conform. There are, as much as I hate to say it, of all the plastics we need to do away with, plastic straws, definitely not one of them right now. There is no feasible alternative currently that functions in the same way as beneficially as they do. So, at least, and this is the thing with a video like this from PragerU, we actually have an opportunity to have conversations about things like this that we otherwise wouldn't be, because with all the stuff they're dishonestly framing, they all invite different conversations. So thank you, PragerU, for, through your propaganda, allowing me to educate people on silly shit. Not that this is silly shit.
Maybe I should just pick what we watch. Play The Handmaid's Tale.
So, what's wrong with that? If your partner wanted to watch a movie with you because they wanted you to experience a story that they enjoy, and then you have that same thought, you want to help them experience a story that you enjoy. So you want to play The Handmaid's Tale because it is informative on certain aspects of culture where women are concerned. But PragerU frames it as he's going, yeah, I give up. But that ends up kind of screwing over PragerU in this because, again, they're trying to portray the guy as reasonable, but all they've done is portray the guy as dismissive. His partner is just as excited to show him something as he is excited to show her something. And instead of having a compromise or a conversation, he's just giving up and acquiescing. He's enabling any of these behaviors that Prager is framing as problematic. Like... And even then, I do think that there's something else PragerU did here where they said, hey, she didn't want to watch X movie because it's incredibly sexist, but as Tyrannospec said in the Twitch chat, but wait a minute, she wanted to watch A Handmaid's Tale. The only difference is Handmaid's Tale is sexist in being informative. But I can see the point. There was a point made about rubber straws in the chat as well, not in the Twitch chat, but in the YouTube chat. And my response to rubber straws are that rubber straws, especially if you bite into a rubber straw and create a cavity in the straw for any amount of time, those straws can actually have bacteria grow on them that otherwise wouldn't grow in a reusable plastic straw, which, again, creates problems for people with autoimmune disorders. The problem basically boils down to there's not a perfect solution.
Should I be jealous?
Yeah. So what do you...
That was the one bit of actual comedy in here. That was the one bit of relatable comedy that has come out of this entire thing. And yes, you should, because that tree is way more massive than anything you've got in your pants. I am 100% certain of that.
What do you do for a job?
You know, I'm a little I'm an entrepreneur here in LA, businesses.
So
and
you
such.
believe in capitalism. Capitalism is literally what's destroying our society and causing so much inequity. How can you be okay with that?
And I also read...
So, I'm going to quote Lenin real quick. All right? Because this is an example of somebody who, and granted, I recognize that this might actually be aiding in PragerU's argument. But to quote Lenin, if you want to hang the capitalist, you have to buy the rope from the capitalist first. So ideally, you buy the rope and then hang the capitalist. That's what you do. If you want to construct a guillotine, you must engage in the production that is already currently set forth and use that to construct that guillotine. This is a fairly understood thing. You cannot just start your own society elsewise and then take down capitalism. That's not going to work. You're going to have to work from within the system. because the other options don't exist. Like, and I understand that might actually work more in PragerU's favor, that the leftist in this conversation doesn't understand basic tenets of critical theory. But again, if her point is going to be, hey, you want to be an entrepreneur? I don't like that. Cool. You could have the same problems as somebody who works in a slaughterhouse or a prison system or anything like that. You can have those problems with their job. But at the end of the day, people are going to have to work in order to survive, and that's what they're going to have to do. But this is PragerU trying to build up the most extreme straw man. The likelihood that you would find every single one of these points in as extreme as they are being portrayed in a single person is really unlikely. But again, it's PragerU.
I had a really interesting piece from my college professor this week about how the orcs are actually supposed to symbolize illegal immigrants. So what a commentary on our society, really.
I was reading this really.
Yeah. And the guy is just sitting there going, I don't want to listen to this. Because the guy at PragerU is showcasing in here is apparently scared to analyze media. That's basically what I'm seeing here. So when she's going, yeah, no, my college professor wrote a paper about this piece of media and analyzed it through the lens of our society and saw that, hey, this says a lot about X or Y. And he's like, I don't want to engage with X or Y. X and Y are scary. You get 2 starters in X and Y. X and Y takes place in France. That's terrifying. So, no, when I'm seeing this, I'm seeing a guy who literally doesn't want to actually analyze any of the shit that's put in front of him. And that sounds like it actually works more against the male than it does the female in this case.
Interesting report that straight white men are statistically the ones who are destroying the environment the most.
That's it. That's it.
What?
So I will say that she's not wrong. But the problem is that when you say it like that, it sounds as if the straightness or whiteness of the individual was the problem. That's the thing that led to them doing X, Y, or Z horrible thing. As it so happens, though, it's literally just people who have the most money and control the most industry, that just happen to be straight white men right now for the most part, they're the ones that have more power because circumstantially that's where we find ourselves. And the people who have the most power are the ones who can cause the most damage. But when you say it stupidly, which is what Prager showcased, it sounds much worse. But here's the thing with PragerU, with all PragerU propaganda. Their goal is not to show an accurate representation of the opposing side. Their goal is to create an extremist strawman and then point to that reductio ad absurdum that they've built, and instead of using it like the reductio is supposed to work, they'll point to the reductio and go, aha, look! Behold! The enemy! It's here! It's evil! Don't touch it! It's bad! That's what PragerU does. That's all they've done. By the way, if you ever want to be upset at PragerU for anything else, remember, they are considered a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Therefore, they don't have to pay taxes or report their books. Now, it gets worse than that. When you consider the fact that not only are they a 501c3, and therefore do not have to report their books to the same capacity that a for-profit organization would have to, if one of the Koch brothers, there's only one now, oops, if the Koch brother decides that he wants to send a sizable donation to PragerU, that sizable donation is now a tax-deductible one because he has sent it to a 501c3 nonprofit. PragerU advertises specifically that your donations to us are tax-deductible. So the rich can send money to the apologetics department for the rich to create propaganda for them. And the government looks at that and goes, yes, this is fine. This is tax deductible. Welcome to the world we live in, everybody. PragerU is a non-profit organization. Whew. Anywho, if that didn't make you hate yourself, because I don't hate myself yet, or rather just in as much as I probably should at this point. So, that was it for the PragerU propaganda video. What did everybody think of that one? We'll take a few minutes break before we actually get into the next one. Like, I hope everybody's having a fun time so far. At least that's what I hope. I recognize that realistically that's not what's happening. Is it a Prager Marathon Day? No. No, it's not a Prager Marathon. It's not. No, the next person that we're going to be talking about today is going to be Sinatra Says. Silas says, I was promised porn. We'll get to the porn. You know what? Actually, hold on. You want to get to the porn? We'll get to the porn. That'll be the next part. Marcelites with the $10 donation. I will give them this. Rape wasn't brought up. Also, I'm not a socialist, but a socialist Democrat. Or a social democrat. So I have no issue with entrepreneurship. Also, are they implying the inverse is better? Because it wouldn't be. Fair. Who Sinatra Says? A mistake. No, realistically, I don't know enough about Sinatra Says outside of what I've been told about them. This will be one of the first videos of theirs that I will sit down and try to watch in full. So, hopefully we will see some expert level argumentation. I don't think we will, though. Silas says that he was promised porn. Let's begin. Oh boy. Why am I yawning already? Thank you very much for the follow, Humble Tot. I also noticed that Miles Swan 91 has subscribed with Twitch Prime. Thank you for that. If you are, I'm going to use this time to do my shilling for the channel, as it were. So if you see down there, should be a link not link right there, but there should be a thing right there. If you donate, the best place to donate, the best way to do it is through the Streamlabs link that is in the description of the YouTube video. If you're watching on... I just realized that if you're watching on Twitch, there is not a Streamlabs link, nor is there a way for you to do anything with that. So let me fix that real quick. I will fix that for like 2 seconds. Aha. There we go. I have linked the Streamlabs link there, and I've linked the Streamlabs link there for both audiences. So, if you are watching, then we are currently in a situation where we are trying to get our bills taken care of. So, if you can, then bills and stuff is there. I'm also going to try making sure that there's actually like a counter down there from now on when I am streaming so that people can see like where it's going and how much is going towards that. Anywho, so if you do want to donate, which don't feel compelled to, but if you do, that would be amazing. If and when you do, please do me the favor of doing it there. Helps us keep track of it. YouTube also takes a third of anything that you super chat. But if super chatting is the most easy thing for you, just do it. Michael says you need to open a porn section with DD. You need to open the porn section with a DDLG playground shill. So you're not wrong. I actually should probably do something about that, or do something with that. So you know what? Fine. Allow me 2 seconds. So if you are watching right now and you didn't know, I do have an affiliate link with DDLG Playground. These are a few examples of what they have there. I'm trying to get it to where you can see everything, but I'm everything is broken for some reason. Aha, there we go. It won't get bigger. There it is. Okay, so again, if you wanted an example of some of the stuff that they sell, here's it. Bunch of stuff that you can use if you're wanting to have fun in the bedroom. Anywho, the link for that, there should be one in the description. If you order anything from there and you use coupon code SIRIS, then you will actually get, there we go, that one actually worked. Then you will get 10% off, and I will also receive a tiny portion from there. Like if $100 worth of merchandise is ordered through them, I get $10 as an example. Here recently, that actually became really important because we were completely out of... because the storm came through. Just a fun story about DDLG Playground, how fast they'll get back to me on stuff. I've told them don't send money to me unless I ask for it. Otherwise, just let it build up in the account for in case something happens. So recently, the power went out, right? We had a huge storm come through and knocked out the power for 18 hours. And if you've ever had the power out in your house, you know that you can't open the fridge. You can't open your freezer because all your food will go bad because there's no power going to it, keeping the temperature. So you have to keep the temperature the same for as long as possible by keeping it closed. So we also didn't have any money available to us because we had just spent all of our money on groceries. But as it turns out, I contacted DDLG Playground and said, hey, have I earned anything on commissions in the last month? And if so, could you send it to me? Within an hour, we got our response from DDLG Playground, and we got money sent to us so that we could take care of getting some fast food for everybody because we couldn't exactly get food elsewise. Can't open the fridge. Can't even cook. No power. So I will say that they have been a absolute joy to work with as far as affiliate marketing is concerned, because not only are they selling a thing, and from what I can tell, they're mostly an ethical company, not only are they selling a thing that I think is neat, but on top of that, they have actually been very, very easy to work with, and they allow me to advertise them in whatever way I want, in as much as I want or as little as I want. I actually don't have any issue with that. Also, Velas, if you want to order us a pizza, nobody's going to complain about you ordering us pizza. Shell Conning says they're also a joy to order from. Awesome. Oh, speaking of that, I need to actually... They sent me a thing saying that if I wanted to pick something from the shop, I could get it sent to me for free for advertising them, which I didn't expect that at all, but I've just been advertising them off and on for like a month and a half, and they suddenly were just like, hey, do you want some stuff? We can send you some stuff. Oh, is there a troll in the chat? Where? Where's the troll? Where's the troll? Who is the troll? I don't see them. Dragon Master? North Korea is a democracy because the full name... Okay, let's see here. Socialism was left-wing ideology. Nazis were fascists. Fascism was extreme right-wing ideology. If Nazis are socialism because they had socialism in their name... I don't see them being a troll, actually. They're making pretty good arguments. I don't think Dragon Master's actually trolling. Just personally. Joel says, you might want some emergency food that doesn't need to be stored in the fridge. I have a gas cooker and canned food for in case earthquake or power outages. That is something that we are working on right now. The next project for the house is actually to get a ladder from our outside room down into our basement, and then get our basement set up with food and water and other stuff, so that when emergencies like this happen, like we had tornadoes, or tornado warning, we didn't have a watch. But when stuff like this is happening and the power there's a chance of it going out and everything else, we can just go down to the basement with the animals. We can't get down to the basement yet with the animals because the only entrance to it is outside of all places. And when you've got 5 cats, toting them outside in a storm to get them one by one into that little shelter, and hoping that none of them are going to exit through the door when you get down there. Nah, it's not happening. It's not going to happen. Cats don't like you doing that. Dragon Master says this all links back to when I said PragerU probably thinks Nazis are on the left. I think they think that as well. Autobot Starscream says, I don't think the Dragon Master is a troll either. I have a running theory that everything that Hitler and the Nazis said was a lie to gain support. Your theory isn't wrong. They had actual leftist propagandists working for them that ended up leaving. Like, one of them ended up leaving when he realized that Hitler was lying the entire time, and the other one got killed during the Night of Long Knives. So, no, you're right. You're not wrong. Miles Swan says, where do you live? We live in Georgia, specifically North Georgia, but I can't get any more specific than that, because elsewise I'll dox myself. Undead Slayer says, check the PragerU video where the Nazis are left or right wing. I'll have to check that out eventually. But I don't want to do that just yet. I would rather do that one whenever I am doing that, not on a live stream, but on a video, because that one's going to require a lot of fact-checking, and I'd rather do that in an edited video where I can cut down a lot of my research time. Whereas if I do it live, you guys are going to be seeing me staring at a screen for hours, just researching. Not Top Donated says, boring monogamous Christian here. I really appreciate your work. Thank you for that. Thank you for the $10 donation. Starstream says, this is why I don't buy that Hitler was a Christian until the end. If I remember correctly, he turned against it later in life, and Gutmidden stuff was propaganda. Crick says, I'm sure you've done the other one. I haven't actually done I've done the We're Nazi Socialist video, but that one's not a video response. That one was just a historical piece that I did. That I want to do more of. I like doing the historical pieces. I would have actually been able to do more historical pieces, but the current project I'm working on right now is with Godless Cranium. Come on, refocus. There you go. The current piece I'm working on right now with Godless Cranium, or the project I'm working with Godless Cranium, is called Cycles of Fascism, and we agreed that Godless Cranium would tackle the past, and I would tackle the present. Which unfortunately means that I can't do more history videos at the moment, because that's currently Godless Cranium's side of that project. But once that project concludes, I can take the time that I am dedicating to that project and then move it back to doing history videos. So that'll be the plan going forward for that, and I might be able to work in a history video between now and then at some point. But we will see. Also, if you guys have not checked out Godless Cranium before, which I think we share most of our audiences together. I could be wrong, though. He is the larger content creator compared to me. But if you have not subscribed to him already, then I would highly suggest doing so. He actually just recently made a video about Goop, the bullshit organization that just got a show on Netflix, of all things. But I've just linked a YouTube channel to Godless Cranium, so go ahead and click that, subscribe to him. He's a good guy. Sarah Obscure says, can PragerU formally be classified as a hate group? I don't think it can formally be classified as a hate group yet. Propaganda, yes. Right-wing, yes. Fact-based, no. But a hate group, it's hard to classify them as that yet. They're way too subtle for that at the moment. Pufflepica says, could you imagine a 3 Arrows plus Cirrus history video? If I could get Dan to agree to a collaboration, that would make my day. You have no idea. Like, I'm a fan of 3 Arrows work. So being able to get Dan to do a video with me would be great. If any of you want to, like, at him on Twitter or something and say, hey, could you guys do a history video together, then I would love that. I've sent him a message before, but he hasn't responded to me, and I generally don't pester somebody past that point because it's kind of rude too. But I do enjoy his work, and if I had an opportunity to work with him, I would do so. Dan is the guy who runs the channel 3 Arrows. It's a history channel that also does responses to people who have ahistorical views, like Steven Crowder. Yes, Miles Swan Goop is Gwyneth Paltrow's company. Realox says, I just want a Cirrus ContraPoints video. That would be another one that would be interesting to do, but I think the likelihood of having that happen is like really, really minuscule. At best, there might be an ability to like get a cameo maybe from one of us on the other's channel, and that is we've never had a conversation. But given the huge difference in our formats, I can't see them meshing well together as much as I do like Natalie's content. So I don't think that would ever work out in as well as we want. Amazing Wolf Skeptic says, what are your contents on Jason Earthu? I don't actually know who that is. I couldn't give you an honest response, as I am completely unsure of who that human being is. So, all right. I think we've taken plenty of time for a break. Luz Franco says, H Bomber Guy and Cirrus doing a collaboration. H Bomber Guy's content is a little closer to mine, just a little bit. So I would not mind doing one with them. Though, if I'm being honest, if I did a video with H Bomber Guy, I wouldn't want it to be a political one. I would want it to be like a game analysis one. Because, hold on. That's the content of his that I actually like the most. Even though I do like his political commentary. And that was the type of sneeze that racked my body. Now all of my bones hurt. All right. Silas, you're still in the chat, right? Because if you are, we'll tackle porn. We'll tackle porn first, and then we'll get to Sinatra Says. We'll do it. Oh, fun. Porn. All right. Let's go to Matt Walsh, giving us some hot takes about porn.
You should not be shocked and scandalized by the argument that hardcore porn is not a human right and should be regulated or banned.
Oh boy. Are we ready for this? Are we ready for this? Also, I like Creationist Cat, real luck. Me and Creationist Cat have actually been on a stream together. Though, when I say we've been on a stream together, I mean specifically we've been in the Discord channel together whilst waiting for Jake from Hannah and Jake to get us into his stream. And we sat there waiting for a while because he was watching a debate. So we've been in the queue to be on a stream together, and then it didn't happen, which kind of sucked. But I have spoken with him, and I do like his content. Marshall X says, Netflix, let's promote pseudoscience and make cringe when we smell unions. Okay.
I'm not saying you have to agree. I'm not saying we have to be on the same page with it. I'm just saying that the argument I'm making here is an argument that every conservative 50 years ago would have at least taken seriously.
Okay.
Every single one.
Okay, so let me show why this little appeal in the very beginning has some structural problems. When you say that people I know would have agreed, or people in my party would have agreed with this position 50 years ago, you said nothing about whether or not the position's true. You said nothing about its validity. It's like being in a nation that has been completely torn apart by war and is trying desperately to rebuild itself. It barely has the funding to even do that. And then you go, you know, my party, the Hawk Party, 50 years ago would have had no problem agreeing to another war today. Well, yeah, but there seems to have been some context that has changed between now and then, hasn't it? Also, AV2457 has donated $15.41. Wanted to help you get a more round number. Thank you for making all of this. I completely cut off the rest of that. Hold on. For making all this content. There we go. I managed to get it to stop cutting that off. Thank you very much for the 1541 donation, making that a very round number. The Bills and Stuff Fund is now at $70, 8% or 8.24% of its way. You know what? I think I know how to actually get that number all the way up to the top, and it's by making people fight each other. There's going to be 2 teams, and you just determine what team you want to be on. The team that is trying to get the percentage at a round number, and the team that is trying to get the monetary value at a round number. So right now it's at 8.24%. So who's going to do the math to try to get it to 9%? And then who's going to be the person looking at the dollar amount going, oh, wait a minute, I don't like that dollar amount. Let's get that one rounded. And then it screws up the percentage number. And you keep going up and up and up and up and up. I recognize that that's like a super manipulative way of trying to like fund the bills through tips and stuff. But it came to mind randomly of people trying to get one higher than the other. And Team 3 has to be the super mathematicians that try to get both even at the same side, or even at the same time. So, anyway, now that we've stated the horribly manipulative game that has been put up. Gizmot says, Cirrus want cheesecake. I guess I could use cheesecake. Cheesecake would be good. I will gladly get a cheesecake. You know what? Be right back. I am back. Whew. Sorry about taking so long there. Also, I see that Ulta has donated $5.31 and completely inserted chaos into the mix. Now, not only is the percentage not correct, but also the percentage is not at a round number, and neither is the actual monetary amount. Oh, boy. That's evil. The only thing that could make it more evil is ordering a pizza. Hint, 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 nudge, nudge. I'm gonna stop that. I'm gonna stop that. That actually makes me feel slimy. Miles Swan says, "Do you like Yu-Gi-Oh?" I like Yu-Gi-Oh, but I hate what it's become. Like I truly cannot stand what it's become. I'm glad that Master Rule 5 is coming in and fixing some of the problems that 4 broke, but I cannot stand the state of the game currently. But I do like it. Like, I still play GOAT format. I still play classical Yu-Gi-Oh! And I would like to build up the decks that I actually used for like competitive play back in the day. Right, back in the day. Dragon Ruler format. But the state of the game currently has really, really turned me off. Autobot says, excited for possible new band lists today. I would be excited for a new band list if I still played, but I just don't. Shalashai says, how do we order a pizza without you doxing yourself? Well, that's a very good question, and I haven't actually thought it through. But as it turns out, I don't have an answer for that. I also just muted the mic for my sniffling, so you guys didn't have to hear that. Where's our porn? Okay, we're getting to the porn. We're getting to the porn. I'm sorry that it's taken so long to get to the porn. Here is Matt Walsh to talk to us about porn.
If you recoil in horror at the very thought of regulating or banning porn, it's because you have so totally accepted the left's premise on pornography and probably on so many other issues as well.
Okay, so let's talk about a couple things here. Let's go ahead and talk about the important problem with what Matt is bringing up here. First of all, what do you mean by porn regulation? Could you define porn regulation for me? What regulations are you talking about? If we are trying to regulate porn in that, say, put a regulation up a lot in the way that like COPPA restricts YouTube, where if you find that a particular actress has been human trafficked, then that content is to be removed from the site, and the site is to be fined for showcasing that content. Or rather, that the user who uploaded that content should be tracked down so that information on the person can be dealt with. Then, yeah, that's something that I agree with. Yeah, you should be able to take a look and see if we have evidence that a person has been human trafficked, because that is a problem. Then yeah, by all means. But elsewise, what other types of regulations are you going to work with? What regulations are you going to try to impose? Is it going to be there's certain types of porn that we just won't allow for? Because at that point, there's people who have kinks, and those kinks aren't going away, and it seems very anti-capitalist to get rid of niche markets. Just saying that right now. Original Spaz says, look at a treat stream. It allows users to order food in your area and have it delivered to you without them seeing the end address. Oh, that is interesting. That is not something that I actually was familiar with at all. Treat stream. Hello. Let me click you. Log in to get started. Log in with YouTube. Let's see what we can do here. Sign in with Google temporarily disabled for this app. It has not been verified by Google to have a Google sign-in for. Okay. Wait. Yep, can't do it with Google. Can't do it with YouTube. Might be able to do it with Twitch though. Might be able to do it with Twitch. So that's a thing that I might be able to do. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm signed up on the website now, but I have no idea how to actually, like, do this. I can post the link to it here, and anybody who is more familiar with TreatStream, if you can let me know like how to work this thing. I have no idea. I don't actually know. Oh, okay. I think I see. Please select your country. Please select your delivery address. I am going to put it in, but I'm not going to let anybody see that I am typing in 1234 Garbaggio writing way. There. That's totally what it is. I agree, I believe. Why did that? Don't do that. Oh, I know why I did that. Because I have my numpad set to all of my scenes. That's my bad. Pick your area, restaurants you like, and things from those restaurants you'd like to get. There we go. Okay. Add new treats. I'm sorry that I'm not being the most entertaining person. Have you ever considered a P.O. box? So I have considered one. The problem is that I am not very good at setting one up and then actually going to the post office and taking care of it. I'm very lazy. But when I have funding, I'm going to. But I keep saying that, and I keep failing. Also, Orla Seraph has donated $4.69. That's a great number. And gotten the Bills and Stuff Fund to $80. But it is now at 9.41%. So whoever is on the team of trying to get the percentage up, the like one mathematician in here who also happens to be in the same financial situation as me and therefore is completely unable to actually provide anything, your team is losing. But I recognize that there's not much that person can do if they're in the same financial situation. Realistically. Setting up this part. Add this to Chrome. Yes, it's added to Chrome. Add new treat. But that doesn't actually show me how to add a new treat. I'm so confused. Oh, okay, I see. I see. That's a delivery service near here. Okay, so I have to actually set up, like, the different stuff to add in. So with TreatStream, are people able to just send food, or is it, like, a thing where they can only send things from, like, stuff that I've set up? At least I think. Right? Is that accurate, or am I just that dumb? I feel like I might just be that dumb. Jack Quill says, "Hello, boyo. How is you? I am doing all right." Pavlovka says, if somebody donates $5, we have the magical happy equilibrium. Oh no, everybody will be satisfied. You have to donate $5 and 1 penny. You have to upset the balance. There's only from things you've selected? Okay. Okay. So let's see here. Okay, I think I've actually got to sign up to buy. Oh my gosh. I have to actually sign up for all this stuff. I don't want to do that in the middle of a stream, but yet here I am doing that. Okay, what can I do to be entertaining during this? I don't think that there's anything I can do that's actually entertaining during the course of putting in information, right? Who is calling me from says a private number? I have no idea who that private number is. Also, do I have an Amazon wish list? I do actually have an Amazon wish list, though I think I need to update it because it's not been updated in a while. Said, ew, you use Chrome. Firefox gang, what up? Okay, so Tangent for Mitzo has donated $10. Thank you very much. Azrael has donated $6.67. The UK did that in 2014. They claimed that certain acts were banned for health reasons, including female ejaculation. Oh boy, isn't that just swell? Female ejaculation's unhealthy. How did you ever come to that conclusion? I am so sorry for that pun. I'm so sorry for that. That's got to be the worst thing I've said all day. Would I debate TLDR on creationism? I mean, yeah, I can debate anybody on creationism realistically. There's a few people I won't because I think they're bad faith actors, like Standing for Truth and Brett Keane. I won't touch them with a 10-foot pole. I might catch something horrible. Said TLDR is a creationist now? I have no idea. This is, again, one of those points where, like, this is the first time I've heard of this person. Okay. So we submit that. Start editing items in your cart as if you were placing an order on the site itself. Once you've add this tree. Okay. So I have to put in what our normal order would be, right? That's a thing that I would normally do. I can do that. Doot. All right. Do we want to build a pizza? Like, I mean, hold on, that's not the right one. We're obviously at this stage of things, right? So, let's build a pizza. I also just realized that I need to do this over here. Why have Unfaithful here still? Why is that there? Get Matt Walsh's dumb face back there. Did you do the Godfill thing? I have no idea. Again, I don't know this person. So I have no idea if they did the Godpill thing. Philip says, I'm not very much of a fan of debunking video. I don't find it much worth in showing up that morons have moronic ideas. But I understand they have a big audience that believe their idiocy. Yeah, no, for Matt Walsh, he's part of the Daily Wire. 1.78 million subscribers. Like, that's a pretty decent chunk, all things considered. TLDR or TLDR was a Red Pole type anti-feminist YouTuber. Okay. I suspect that many men don't know female ejaculation exists, and many more are reluctant to admit they know. Why would they be reluctant to admit that they satisfy their partners? Like, why would that be a problem for someone? Just admitting that you as a person have made your partner happy. Like, that feels kind of weird, right? Like, aha! I know how to satisfy women. That makes me bad somehow. According to some people, Yes. No, that just sounds weird. It says I'm still set to streaming League of Legends. Really? Okay. Let me fix that. Just chatting. There, it's now set to just chatting. There we go. I am sorry. I had it set stupidly, and I have now fixed it. It has now been fixed. It should now be set to just chatting. There we go. Save that to favorites. Oh, why did that come up as a okay? I can't actually continue the order. I just realized that, like, if I wanted to do this pizza order in whole, which I'd like to do, that is going to take a while because I have to put in an order for 4 people because there's 4 people in the house, and I don't want to continue doing that. I'd like to continue with the video. I need to stop tangenting and diverging off of things. I'm really bad at that. Also, it's pure chaos up in the bills and stuff area. 96.67 for the amount and 11.37 in the percentage. Matt Walsh, let's continue on with your silliness.
You not just pornography. You have hook, line, and sinker. You have accepted the left's cultural arguments, and you don't even know it. You are looking at, and I don't mean this as, oh, you're acting like a leftist, like some empty insult. I mean it literally. You are seeing the world through the eyes of a leftist, and
So Matt, you do realize that an insult can be both empty and you really mean the insult, right? Like, I can mean an insult wholeheartedly and the insult have zero substance. That's a thing that can happen. That's a thing we can do. Also, I need to figure out why or what I can do to make it to where I'm less exposed by this light. Because it's like I'm wearing a white mask. Like just a blinding white mask. Ah! Why? Why is everything breaking? Everything is on fire, and it's not even my fault this time. At least I think it isn't. It might actually be my fault. Realistically. Said the next good number would be 170, and it would be 20%. Take off the black shirt. That's not going to fix it. That's not going to fix it here. Okay, let's go with...
you don't even know it. And that's the case if a classic conservative argument about obscenity scandalizes and shocks you. It's not just that conservatives have abandoned their own positions. It's that now conservatives are actually offended by conservative positions on things. That's how thoroughly the left has won. The left has won so thoroughly that, like I said, on common good, I was talking about common good. Someone told me that the idea of the common good is jargon. This is a conservative. So it's just jargon. The very concept...
So wait, Matt Walsh is saying that conservatives aren't making any sense, and that is news to him. I guess since he's also a conservative, it wouldn't be news. But okay, so let's pick apart what's been said so far. So he said that the problems with pornography must be obscenity, right? Because that's what he's framed the conversation around thus far. Okay, and I can understand calling something obscene material. That's understandable, just from a rhetorical stance. But the question, though, becomes if you're a First Amendmenter, you're a true freedom of speech believer, is not pornography or the ability to record having sex in any way, shape, or form, is that not just an expression of freedom of speech? Like it's some type of expression there. And like literally, this is a nation founded on the idea of being free. I doubt that his arguments are actually pro-freedom. That feels weird to me. Also, hold on, before I pop out completely from that side of things, I wanted to say that we just got another super chat in, and that was from Marcel X for $5, and I can't actually read what it said. There we go. Here's an empty insult. I mean, I hope Matt Walsh would shove garlic up his foreskin in Minecraft. Step on a Minecraft and landmine. Whew. Also, we received from Arctic Fox William $36.21, donating this amount of money as a nod to every furry's favorite porn site. In all seriousness, I'm glad to have a chance to watch as I've been busy working. Thank you for giving me so much wonderful content. I hope this helps. Well, Arctic Fox, it does help, considering that is just about enough to pick up a pizza for everybody in the house. Not counting the fact that it also is part of the funding that's going towards bills. So, thank you very much for that. All right. Matt Walsh, continue to serenade me with your BS.
Good is now jargon. This is relativism. This is nihilism and relativism, and it has infiltrated conservatism in a major way.
Okay, so actually, hold on. There's an important thing that he also just did here. When somebody says something's jargon, that is not automatically dismissal, right? So if you and I are having a conversation about Magic the Gathering, right? And when I say, "Hey, what's your mana dork?" and you say Lawnmower Elves, we are using jargon. That's all jargon. Mana dork is a Magic the Gathering term. Lawnmower Elves is a expression to make fun of one of the most common mana dorks in the game, Lawnmower Elves. So, I say, "What's your mana dork?" and you say Lawnmower Elves. Nobody outside of the conversation we're having knows what we're talking about. Right? But everything we've said has substance. Every single thing that has been said in this conversation has substance to it. Jargon or no. Simply pointing out that someone is engaging in a conversation using jargon, common good in political theory is jargon, BT dubs, is not a dismissal of the point. It's not a dismissal of the conversation. It's not a dismissal of anything that's been said. It's simply pointing out that this is a word that doesn't mean anything to people outside of this conversation who are not used to having this conversation. But if we're talking about common good and political discourse, we are in fact engaging in jargon. Common good for most people is just going to be, to the benefit of all. But it might be more technical depending on who is saying it and what conversation they're having it in. Again, dismissal based on jargon means nothing. Matt is really quiet. Can you turn up the video volume? I can turn it up a little bit. Here. This should work.
When conservatives decided that government should not be used to advance the good, when that happened, and it wasn't at one point that it happened, but over the course of decades. But that is when conservatism became limp, shallow, and ineffectual.
So, wait a minute. Isn't the primary argument of conservatism that the good is advanced by the populace, not by the government, and that because of that fact, the government must be lessened? Like, isn't that supposed to be the conservative argument, small government? Not that the government can provide more good or can do more for the common good, but that the government as an institution needs to be cut down. This is why they're usually for lower taxes, so that there's less funding going into the government. That doesn't sound like a fully conservative argument to me. That doesn't. That's very libertarian. That's not super conservative. Wait a minute, but I can't say those things because those were jargon. They can now be dismissed based on them being jargon. Apparently.
Also divorcing itself from its own intellectual history.
Intellectual history. That's a fun word to use when we're talking about conservatism. So does everybody here actually know what the history of conservative thought is? Like, the actual origins of conservatism? Because, whoo boy. Let's see. Who here knows? You activated my trap card. Jargon dismissal. Maintain the status quo. It is in a way maintain the status quo, but why? What was the original reason to maintain the status quo? Okay, so for those who don't know, and this is going to be a very, very light dissertation on this. This is not one of my edited videos. I'm not going into a lot of detail, but I will, if you guys want, go into detail, as explicit as I can, about the history of conservatism. But conservative thought, at least where we've been able to trace the roots of conservative thoughts. Also, Original Spaz says some money for derailing your stream. Thank you very much for the 350 donation. But the history of conservative thought begins in and around France, where what we would consider the upper middle class there, granted, this was back in more feudalistic periods, so upper middle class also meant that you had a lot of land. And again, insofar as we could identify people as upper middle class. But these sub-nobles, as it were, wanted to figure out a way to maintain the little bit of power they had been able to eke out in the world for them and their families. What was the best way for them to maintain that power? Well, by maintaining the power of the monarchy. If you maintain the power of the monarchy, then everybody else would be able to maintain their power as well. So, that maintenance of power, that status quo, became what needed to be achieved. Now, why was this important to them? Well, if the main central power is always there with its fist, then there's always going to be something else for people to go after. There's always going to be something for the working class, as it were, to go after that is not you, not your upper middle class self. The government is going to be the enemy. They're going to go there, and that in turn allows the monarchy to strengthen itself, thus ensuring the power of the monarchy. So when we hear from people that, oh, I don't understand why conservatives are always in favor of like billionaires and like these people who have established oligarchical power, I don't understand why that they do this. Do they think that one day they're going to be this rich? No. Conservative thought began not as a way of trying to figure out how to maintain power so that one day when you attain that power, it is well protected. It was to maintain the little bit of power you already had. That's where it originated from. So when you are encountering conservative arguments that are trying to keep billionaires as billionaires, that are trying to keep the government as the institution that it is right now, that are trying to keep, almost what we would consider more oligarchical as opposed to democratic leadership, because realistically corporations have a lot more power than they should, especially where lobbying is concerned. Why do those arguments get pushed through so much by conservatives? If they're adhering to classical conservative thought, it was to maintain the power of the monarchy, so that if the monarchy had 80% of the power, they could keep that 1% of the power that they got. They could keep that 2% of the power that they got. That tiny bit of power that they had managed to attain could be maintained for them and their families going forward. This also, conversely, if you maintain the power of the monarchy, guess who maintains a position of no power? Your bottom working class. So that when you adhere to classical conservative thought, you can't really lift people out of the working class that easily, at least not on a systemic level. Your working class is going to continue to be oppressed because it maintains that power in the monarchy, therefore maintaining the little bit of power you've managed to eke out in the world. So, there. Tiny bit, very small dissertation on how conservative thought began in France and how maybe if you look at that, you can see how that's been adapted a little more for conservative thought in the present day. That said, let's continue with Matt Walsh now that we've gotten through that. I don't even remember why I was so worried about that at all. I don't remember what brought that to mind. But let's continue with Matt Walsh and talking about porn.
And that is why the left always wins, because the right has abdicated, has run.
This is why the left always wins, according to Matt Walsh, except the left hasn't always won. There are still states that where creationism is trying to be pushed back into school. That's conservative Christians are a thing. More conservative Christians than there are Democratic Christians, than there are progressive Christians. Trump is in power. That's not a win for the left. I'm sorry. Our Supreme Court is conservatively owned right now. That's not a win for the left either. None of that is a win for the left. However, this ties in very well with some of the ways in which fascism is borne out, how it properly gains its power, how it properly works its rhetoric. So, one of the things that is very important for fascist ideology insofar as you can even say it has an ideology of any substance, one of the important things is to victimize yourself. Because when you victimize yourself, it becomes very, very easy for people to empathize with your plight when you're a victim. So, when people on the right like this can say the left is always winning, they're dominating everything, they've got a stone grip on the media, they've got a stone grip on academia, all these institutions, they're owned by the left, even though the actual real power is in their hands. When they do this, they get to create a victim narrative about themselves, and then people can rally behind that victim narrative. And then, once you have that victim narrative built up, guess what you get? Who here has seen the footage from the Unite the Right rally? Who here has seen the footage of people screaming at the top of their lungs with tiki torches, "You will not replace us, you will not replace us"? How do you get to that point without feeling like you're a victim of a possible great replacement? That victim mentality is an important aspect of the early beginnings of fascism, is to make people feel like they're victims and that the ideology that you're trying to push forward is the only way to save them from those who victimized them. So, maybe fun context for everybody in the chat.
Runaway has surrendered. My friend Josh Hammer, who also works at Daily Wire, writes great pieces every day. He made the point last night that the right has almost entirely abandoned moral arguments and arguments rooted in justice. The right has almost completely stopped making those arguments and ceded all of that to the left. The left makes those arguments all the time.
It is almost as if you've lost the arguments. Like, if I say that guillotines for the poor is bad, and you say that no, they're enemies of the state, they must be killed, but over time we've realized that there's just so many times where innocent people have been hit by those guillotines that no, guillotines for the poor is not a good idea. Maybe you shouldn't be doing this. And when you lose that argument over and over and over and over again, there's two things you can do. You can either A, admit that it was a shitty argument and that maybe you shouldn't have been doing it, or B, B, the other thing you can do is then play victim. Scream and yell at the top of your lungs, the left is oppressing me. And now when you get to play victim, now it changes the narrative to where you guys are the victims who can scream and yell with tiki torches that the left should not replace us, or the other people should not replace us, because welcome to the victim narrative. Welcome how it works. Let's see here. Frustrated. Why did we hide Vile Bird? I'm confused as to why they were hidden. Okay. Fair enough. I figured it was an accident. I just noticed it in the chat and was confused.
And they always win. They always win because nobody opposes them. They're just running up and down the football.
Wait, no, people did oppose. Wait, what? The left doesn't face opposition, especially not in moral arguments? When did this happen? When did this happen? What? When did this magical circumstance that I have not encountered of the left just not being able to be part of this discourse in this way? When did this happen? That's the first I've heard of this. It's the first time this has come up in my mind. My brain meats haven't processed this information before.
Football field, scoring touchdowns, and there's no defense on the field to stop them. They say we should do this or that because it's right and it's just, and these weak, emasculated conservatives are sitting off in a corner going, oh, we don't want to legislate morality, so we're not going to chime in here. Hey, guys, let's not legislate morality. No, we don't want to do that. That's wrong. We shouldn't do that.
Maybe you should talk about the actual porn thing, right? Like, you're being very vague right now, but you haven't actually talked about the porn thing, the thing that your video is supposed to be talking about.
And then they try to make all their arguments based on economy or something like that, or even worse, based on rights divorced from the good. And
so wait, is it... He does understand that, technically speaking, conservatism is almost entirely about the economy, right? Like, other things stem from that, yes, but generally speaking, your conservatives are capitalists, and this is an economical stance. Now, there are moral sides to this, and usually that's based on stuff like Christianity, but if you've lost the moral arguments because you realize that they're all bullshit, then all you have left is your economical arguments at that point. Like, that's all you've got. And even those are shit, but we'll continue on.
And they lose every damned time because their arguments are weak and timid and toothless and grounded in nothing. If you've noticed that you're a conservative and you always lose every argument, this is why.
Could it actually be that you're losing the argument as conservative because you're wrong? Could that potentially be what's going on here, Matt? Like, is it, insofar as you can even find most conservatives who will actually acquiesce that they've lost an argument, which I haven't seen happen that much, but when you can actually get one to admit that they've lost an argument, is it because you didn't come in aggressively enough? Is it because you didn't, like, fight hard enough? Is it because you weren't conservative enough? I'm confused. Usually when you lose an argument, it is because either your rhetoric was lacking or you were actually wrong. And you seem to be saying that it's always the rhetoric. It's never that they're actually wrong. The conservatives are right by default, and when they lose, it's because their rhetoric wasn't up to snuff. Okay. Azrael has donated $5 from an article in 2018. The research suggests that when intolerant white people fear democracy may benefit marginalized people, they abandon their commitment to democracy. That seems to be the case, though I think it's less to do with white people in general and more to do with whichever set of people in whichever culture is used to maintaining power. In this country, it is white people, yes. But in other countries, it is whatever ethnicity is prominent there, too. Or whichever ones have power in the world right now. And as it turns out, the strongest empires in the world right now are also fairly white. Insofar as we can even call white a race. I'm of the opinion that it's a skin color, not a race. And even race is a fucking misnomer. So, I'm suddenly reminded of the scene from Star Wars Episode 3 where Obi-Wan and Vader are fighting, and he's just yelling at him, "I'm an ally of the Republic to democracy." Nightbot is telling everybody if you want to support, use the Streamlabs link.
Because your arguments are terrible and have no grounding. Okay, so that's the first objection. Objection number 2. In fact, okay, let's go to the next objection. I just mentioned it. Legislate morality. Oh, we shouldn't legislate morality. We now, I keep going back to this, but I don't mean to harp on it, but just the fact that conservatives are now saying don't legislate morality, this stupid bumper sticker slogan that you hear from conservatives now, I mean, it is so depressing.
Well, it might be a little depressing, but realistically, not legislating morality makes sense within the conservative argument if you accept not the classical conservative position of maintaining hierarchical power, but the conservative arguments of trying to diminish governmental control, diminish governmental size. Then, yeah, not legislating morality would be literally preventing the government from having control in that aspect, in that set of society. That is, in fact, a modern conservative position. Yes, you're right, Matt. Congratulations. You win a gold star. You get a cookie.
Of course we legislate morality. What are you talking about? Of course we do. Everything that is illegal because we have decided that it's wrong.
Thank you for saying we have decided, because that would have been really awkward if you said it's illegal because it's wrong. That's an awkward slide to just kind of jump on.
So every law we make, every single law we make is based on a moral conception. We can be wrong, okay? We have decided in this society that it's good, in fact, that it would be evil to stop women from killing their babies, and thus it is legal for them to kill the babies. So we can be wrong with our moral conceptions, but what I'm establishing here is that there is no such thing as not legislating morality. That is a thing that doesn't exist ever, anywhere. If a thing is illegal, it is because we have decided, or the government's decided, that it's wrong.
So my one question to Matt here would be, has he actually decided to bring up any examples of people engaging in this type of argumentation? Like, is that a thing that we have seen here, where he's got an idea of a conservative in his head that is not living up to his ideal his Ubermensch conservative, as it would be. He's not got a conservative in his head living up to the ideals that he wants it to, but he doesn't actually talk about any specific arguments that somebody has said. He doesn't cite someone. And that feels kind of strange. In fact, kind of really strange. But, Relax says, it's illegal for me to hunt in Virginia with more than about 3 rounds in my gun. Is it immoral? So 3 rounds in your gun, but as many rounds as you can fit in your pocket, am I right? That's the way around that one, I think.
If something is not just wrong, but evil, morally evil. If something is not morally evil, then it shouldn't be illegal. Simple as that.
Oh. Okay. Right. You're right. Let's talk about the war on drugs. Let's do that. Let's have a chat about the war on drugs. Let's talk about slavery. Let's talk about pornography. Let's talk about all these things that conservatives classically have argued against throughout the history of this nation. But why is Nightbot double spamming? That's weird. Undead Slayer says, isn't bodily autonomy only moral because the inverse leads to an infinite regress, i.e. people arguing back and forth that they are entitled to the other's body? Basically, it's not that it's moral because of that, but to argue that bodily autonomy is immoral does lead to an infinite loop, where we have to then decide, well, which life do we value more? The established life that lives in the world right now, or the potential life that has not yet entered the world? I just now noticed the Nightbot 2-time spam. This is the first time I've seen it. Says I probably have 2 sessions of Nightbot running. I shouldn't have 2 sessions of Nightbot running. That's news to me. I don't think I do. Hold on. Let me see. Nightbot. Let's see if Nightbot is running. Let's see if it's on. Let's see if it is screwing up and blowing everything in the stream to bits. I can't actually see Nightbot. Do 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 do. Yeah, looks like everything's running as normal. far as I can tell. But, no, where has the Nightbot gone?
There is no morally good thing that should ever be illegal. Now, there are morally evil things that shouldn't necessarily be illegal.
Like abortion.
Because you have to take into consideration many different factors. Like, how do you
Like abortion.
enforce it? Yeah, what would that entail? Degrees of things, and who's affected. You do weigh all of these things.
Yeah, that's how we got to the present case on abortion.
But my point is, the only reason why anything is ever a candidate for being illegal is that it's evil. According to at least the people in power. So this don't legislate morality thing, I just wish everyone would stop saying it. Because when you say that, you reveal that you have no idea why laws even exist.
Speaking of having no idea about things, Matt, we spent 6 minutes and 21 seconds in a video that the Daily Wire clipped and called it porn should be regulated like alcohol or tobacco, but didn't cite anything. You didn't cite a source. You didn't cite an argument. You didn't even cite who the hypothetical conservative you were talking about in the entire thing was. You gave us nothing. That there was no actual conversation about porn here. Just arguing that conservatives weren't conservative enough for you. What? Matt, this is not how we YouTube. This is not how we YouTube with 1.78 million subs. No. Okay. That was... Is that in the opinion section or under the news section? It's in the YouTube section right now. I don't know. I'm sad and confused. So the best way for me to deal with that is to now suffer through Sinatra Says. Okay, Sinatra Says, let's talk about polyamory. Let's do it.
But as you'll see in today's video, these people did not keep...
Hold on.
You know, I really could give a shit what people do in their own house. You're an adult. You're a grown-ass adult. It's your private property. I don't give a fuck what you do in your own home behind closed doors, as long as it's legal. And you keep it to yourself.
Geez, the production values on his channel are as bad as the ones on mine. That's saying something.
But as you'll see in today's video, these people did not keep it to themselves. They went to Barcroft TV and had an article written about them. So, I reserve the right to make fun of them. And it is absolutely ripe with things to make fun of. But first, this week's shout-out is going to go over to Ranting Monkey.
Okay.
He's hilarious, and I'm on his show all the time, so go check it out. My channel was completely demonetized. YouTube will not let me know why, and they will not...
You got Fuentes'd. Like, okay, so demonetization sucks. I hate when any content creator gets hit with demonetization. Unless they have shown a long history of really, really deserving it. Nick Fuentes has definitely earned his spot as somebody who has been demonetized. So, good old gently scrolling animated backgrounds for when you really want to make audio only and need filler. Still beats just showing random video game footage. Now, granted, I can't say anything too terribly horrible because at the end of the day, that is the format that up until recently I had. And that's why I was like, the production values are just as bad as the ones on my channel. I should be more clear. They're as bad as the ones that I used to accept as good for my channel before I actually modified it. And that was mainly because I just realized that channel's been doing the same thing for like 2 years. I really wanted to up the production value, so we did. So we really did. But if I go to like older videos on my channel.
As it expresses
This is the same format that I used to use.
ideas. I disagree that art was used specifically to elevate people. Art,
Which is a little different than, say, one of the more recent ones, like this.
duality. Are you excited? Because I'm not.
Where the production values have gone up just a little bit. And by just a little bit, I mean a lot. Gaelic Knox was responsible for the avatar change, the animation for the avatar, and the animation for the new intro. And I am responsible for the backgrounds. And by responsible, I mean I've literally like gone around in World of Warcraft and gotten that stuff. So, anywho, that's as much as I'll say about the production value thing because I've done that production value. Now, granted, I didn't do that production value all the way up until the point that I had 1,800 or 180K subscribers, right? I didn't do that, but still, let's continue.
Give me my money back. And if you so choose, you can support me on Patreon via monthly donations. You get all kind of dope rewards over there, movie night, Patreon streams, Minecraft server, all that and more over on Patreon. Go check it out with me and make unboxing videos with my face. I also have a subscribe star and a BitChute. I'm like the better version of PBS. I'm brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you. All right, let's get into this cringe fest. Ugh, it's so bad.
This is Tori. She fell in love with Travis.
So, Tori fell in love with Travis. Good for them. What's so important about this? Why do an article and make a video about this, Barcroft? And, just by judging on looks, who wouldn't fall in love with Travis? What?
Oh boy, we begin. Because instead of actually getting to the content of the video, he has to first take his little pot shot and make fun of the looks of the people in the video that he's going for. That's the first thing he has to do. Okay, sure. Why not? I'm glad that they're ugly is an argument in 2020 year of our helix.
What a looker he is.
And Ethan. And Mark.
Wait, was that a little...
And, just by judging on looks, who wouldn't fall in love with Travis? What a looker he is.
Did you just randomly cut to your background? Dude, you can fix that in post, my guy. I wouldn't be making fun of the aesthetics of your channel, but that seems to be the only way you can engage where this video is concerned, is just talking about aesthetics. So I'm going to make fun of your aesthetics because, well, that seems to be the thing that you do.
And Ethan. And Mark. And Chris.
Oh, that's 1, 2, 3. That is 3 more guys than she should be in love with.
Wait. Then she should be in love with. Not that she should be dating. Not that she should be living with. Not that she should be sleeping with. No. Should be in love with. Hold on, you're not comparing Sinatra to Nick Nutjob Fuentes? So no, I'm not comparing Sinatra to Fuentes saying that these two are equal. What I'm saying is, I tend to laugh when there are content creators like Fuentes that get demonetized because they do deserve it. I don't know if Sinatra deserves it. I don't know if he's done the same level of damage as Fuentes. So that's not what I'm doing. What I am doing, though, is saying that demonetization on its own isn't something that I'm for or against unless I can tell that the creator themselves deserve it. So, let us continue with this silliness.
But they all look like they'd be incels without her. But let's see how it plays out. Let's see the dynamic.
They all look like they'd be incels without her. Give me a moment. Bum bum ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum 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 bum. Are we actually going to see here? What do you actually look like? Sinatra says. Because I don't actually see anything on you. Do you have... Nope, it's all a cartoon avatar. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I hide behind a cartoon avatar as well. But if you're going to make fun of people's looks, you open yourself up to it. But you've pretty well hidden yourself, so we can't make fun of your looks, which is good. Works for you. I'm sure you look exactly like Frank Sinatra. With all the class and the fedora / Trilby.
Here.
Their four-way relationship is working wonders for them.
Would that not be a 5-way relationship, considering there's, I don't know, 5 people involved? And to absolutely zero surprise, the guy on the far left of the couch is a big Star Wars fan.
The relation.
What? How does that matter? Aha! I knew it! That guy on the couch, that guy right there, I knew you would like this piece of popular media that literally 90% of the populace enjoys. It was statistically going to happen. The fuck does that have to do with anything? Jesus fucking Christ.
Relationship could best be described by having Tori as the hub and all of us are spokes on a giant wheel.
There is some absolutely heinous shit that happened in this poor girl's life. You can just kind of tell.
How? How can you tell? How can you tell? By what metric have you used so that you can tell? By what fedora-tipping, neck-bearding metric have you used to milady your way into this woman's thoughts to tell that there's trauma there? How did you do that? How did you do that? Please, I need to know the methodology. This would help so much going forward. The ability to mind read and the capacity that you are currently demonstrating is a superpower that I would die for. Please, how did you manage this? I need to know. I've got to know. I've got to know.
But not everyone understands the dynamic.
Just go ahead and leave a comment down below if you don't understand the dynamic of what's happening here.
Sure, why not? Here, we'll go ahead and do it right now. Let's see here. I don't understand the dynamic between you, the people who listen to the words that come out of your mouth. Seems to be a really strange, uneducated, one-way, one-sided relationship. Hey, you told me to comment. There we are. Comment has been brought for Sinatra Says. He requested it.
Because I can tell you it is fucking weird.
I was like, oh, you're kidding, that you're joking.
How will this poly relationship cope with a further addition to the family?
And so who's the father of the baby?
Ah, Jesus. You need to warn us before you put that on screen. Holy shit. So yeah, their 5-way relationship is having a baby, and she doesn't know who the dad is.
Yes, because there are... Actually, no. She does know who the dad is. Wait, did you not watch the video before you made your edited content based on it? Now, granted, I do that all the time, so I can't really get onto you for doing the same shit that I do. But, again, she does actually know who the dad is. This is a thing that comes up in the actual video.
Ooh, that kid is in for a rough fucking life.
And so are you. I'm fairly certain your parents beat you. I'm saying that based just looking on the Sinatra Says avatar that you have there. Now, granted, I have no way to actually know whether or not your parents engaged in abusive behavior while you were being brought up, but I just know. Don't ask how I know. I'm just using the same metrics that you've used. You just looked at somebody's face. Suddenly you knew that she had trauma in their life. I'm just looking at your channel and determining by looking at your channel that, yeah, your parents probably engaged in more physical behavior than was really warranted. It's an awkward dynamic. It really is. But that's kind of where we end up. We end up in this weird spot where the logic that you're using against people on the internet can be used against you. This is escalation theory. So, let's go ahead and use your logic. We'll be consistent. We will use it. McNutty Sober Companion says so hi and bye. Hello and goodbye as well.
Well, love may not judge, but I certainly fucking do. So let's get to some judging.
So then this is mine and Travis's room. This is the master bedroom.
Okay.
This is the room that has the bigger bed that people will swap in and out of every night just so that everyone can get equal turns, you know, sharing a bed.
So it's hers and Travis's room, but Travis has to leave the bedroom in order for everyone else to get a turn with his wife. I mean, bed. Same thing.
The first...
Okay. I mean, that's not the way that we do it, but, you know, to each their own. They may have tried everybody sleeping in the same bed and realized that it didn't work. Like, for instance, as an example, if you have a partner who doesn't have any libido at all, but maybe like once every month or two, this is not going to be somebody who's comfortable with two partners who have high libidos being in the same bed with their partner. Not usually, because the time that they are willing to engage in sexual behavior or witness it, if that's part of their deal, is really low. So the idea that, oh, they swap in and out in the bed, that's bad. No, that's just how their relationship functions. They may have decided that that's the best thing for them. Hell, Travis might have ED and might not actually be able to engage at all. And so this ends up working out better for him. I don't know. I can't magically analyze an entire situation and understand the trauma that everybody else has dealt with in the situation. That's the superpower you apparently have.
The first polyamorous relationship I had been in was actually with Travis and Ethan. Travis was the one who had brought up the idea to me.
Oh, that just kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
How does it make sense, though? You haven't... What do you know about these people? What do you actually know about this group of people? How can it make sense? For something to make sense, you have to be able to establish a pattern of behavior. Where have you established that? Where have you actually gotten that pattern from to make that judgment call? I don't know how you managed that. I have to assume magic. I have to. Because there's no other explanation as to why you would know these things.
We met back in elementary school. We've been dating.
Bro, get your mouth off of that. You don't know where it's been. Yeah.
Yes, yes, he does. Moreover, get your mouth off of that? That isn't... She's a person, dude. Like, she's actually a person. She lives and breathes and drinks milk, I assume. Like, that's an actual living person, not an it, not a that, not an object. How is your audience just that stupid that your vapid commentary is entertaining to them? Like, okay.
Dating.
Bro, get your mouth off of that. You don't know where it's been. Ew, gross. Lysol that bitch.
I've known Ethan since junior high, and we made things official recently, but we've basically been dating for about 2 years now.
Okay, so we're getting a little bit of a background on every guy that sleeps in her and her husband's bed.
Yeah, we are now, finally, which you don't have. This is when we're getting the background that allows us to establish patterns. Not before. You're actually this dumb.
This is really, really interesting.
The term poly, meaning multiple, often refers to a 3-person relationship, but for these guys, it's Tori and her 4 separate lovers.
So, still, that doesn't answer the question. Would that be a 5-way relationship or not?
And the next one.
I guess it's just jokes, right? Like it's comedy humor. Ah ha ha. Am funny.
Be Mark. We met in high school. And then Chris is the newest addition. We've been dating since April.
This can't help but remind me of that one Futurama episode. I tried looking for a clip of it, but I can't find it. But where Fry accidentally, tumbles backwards into some poly relationship like this one, and all the guys are like, it's better to have a slice of delicious cake than to have none at all. Do you think that's the same mentality these guys have to use to keep some monicum of self-respect?
No, because you're assuming that people in polyamorous relationships don't feel like they have any self-respect. That's the thing. In a polyamorous relationship, your norm is that there are going to be more people in there than just you and your partner. There's no self-respect issue there. That's just considered what you do. It can take time adapting to it if you've never been, you've never seen that kind of relationship. But again, this is just what is normal for poly people. They don't have a self-respect issue. Now, self-respect issues can exist within poly relationships, true. You can have a person in a poly relationship who doesn't have any self-respect, and so they don't talk about when their sexual needs are not fulfilled or when their needs around the house are not fulfilled. That can be a thing, but being poly does not suddenly mean your self-respect is gone. That's not how this works.
Wow.
All right, I'm starting with a good card. I have yay. Yay.
I think, I think I just cracked a fucking tooth from cringing so hard. Do they really?
Is this actually something that people enjoy watching? I get it's got 180K subscribers, right? So there's got to be at least a few people who are like, this is that content that I come for. This is the content that I want. But I'm confused. I'm really confused because I haven't actually heard argumentation. I haven't actually heard a point. I've just heard, oh, cringe. It made me cringe. I hope my audience agrees with everything I say. That way I can confirm their biases. Cringe! Leafy is here was demonetized and taken off the platform, right? Or not taken off the platform, but he doesn't do YouTube anymore from what I understand. That seems to be all this is. It's not somebody actually engaging in what's going on. He's just showing a thing that he cringed at to his audience and going, I cringed. I don't get it. That hurt my throat. Never doing that voice again.
Really get together and play fucking board games? Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Why is families get together and have board games all the time, my dude? How is this that we get together and play video games? What? How is this strange? I'm so confused. I'm so confused.
Are you all quite competitive when it comes to games?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have to try not to be.
Because Mark, every time he loses, he goes crying into his bedroom. He won't come out for 3 days. It's really bad, guys. It's really bad.
Jesus fucking Christ. Are you gonna engage with the content and anything other than just poking and making fun of it? Are you able to do that? Are you able to be an adult? I don't think you can. This is somebody who learned argumentation from the playground and never actually, like, got better at it. Said, Cirrus, go get Growlithe, make this a puppy stream. I think we need to. I think we need to. This is hurting otherwise. The pain is real. Growly girl. Come on. Come on. You're here with me. You're here with me. Come on. Come on, girl. Hey there. Yeah, I know. I know. Come on. Hey there. Okay. Hey, Growlithe. You doing all right? You doing okay? Hey, Growlithe. Okay. So, continuing on with this silliness. Oh, do you not want to deal with me doing this? What is it? What is it, Growlithe? Cirrus has been booped. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to get at? You're getting love and affection. Is that all you wanted? Just love? Is there no ulterior motive? No grand master plan? Okay. When will she evolve into Arcanine? Well, I don't have to give her a Firestone ever, so she won't. Yeah? Here you go. She's done a hop. All right, let's see if we can't make it through the rest of the Sinatra video. I've only got about 30 minutes left of being on stream. So, Sinatra.
This is so weird. What do you think that house smells like? What?
Oh my fucking god! Is this where it comes from? Is this fucking joke? This joke. Imagine what that house smells like. Imagine what that house smells like. That room. Imagine how it smells. I see this in comments so fucking much. What kind of a dumb shit NPC do you have to be to keep making the same fucking joke over and over and over again? It's not funny. Oh wait, that's right, it is funny because your audience is a bunch of morons that actually let their confirmation bias be the only thing they're here for. I'm sorry. I forgot about that. And I'm aware there's probably at least a few people in this audience that's not idiotic. I get that. I understand I'm painting with a broad brush. I do. But I have to assume when you've got 180,000 subscribers, most of them are just as dumb as you. And that's how we've gotten here.
What could that house possibly smell like?
Also, I rarely play this game to win. I generally just like sowing chaos.
He rarely plays board games to win. He just likes sowing chaos. Somewhere out there's a picture of this guy with a samurai sword and a fedora. I'm calling it now.
What? Your avatar is a fucking fedora!
While this poly quintet are happy to play games with one another, that's as far as play goes for the boys in this relationship.
We're not romantic with each other. We're all just connected with her.
Okay, finally, a real question. I was really kind of curious if these guys were like, oh, she's busy tonight. That's okay. Come on over here. I'll take a blowjob from you, Mark. Ugh. Come on.
What the? Wait. Wait a minute. Hold on. So your argument now is it's not as bad as it could have been. At least they're not gay. I don't want to use the hammer. I don't. I'm not. I'm way too lazy to use the hammer. I really am. Like, Jesus Christ. At least they aren't gay. Okay. I wonder if he'd enjoy catching the gay, at least from a big prison man named Bubba. Sorry, that's a bad joke. I shouldn't say that. I just get in really weird moods when I see stuff that's this absolutely stupid. But continue.
Although Tori might like it to be another way.
They're all more than welcome to have another partner if they so choose, but as of currently, no.
Well, credit where credit is due. This girl is single-handedly driving down the incel population. Good for her. I wonder if she takes 2 or more at the same time.
Why would it even matter if she does? Why are you concerned with their sex life? Like, okay, so hear me out. Hear me out. There is, with their relationship, if they want to seek another partner, they're allowed to. Okay, cool. Also, why are you arguing that these people are incels? You have no idea if they are or not. You have no background on these people. Seriously, is he related inmate 0645217? If only. If only. No, I don't get it. I'm confused. 180,000 subscribers. How do you manage this when your argument has no substance past playground bullying and your content, the actual bits of like content you've managed to produce in this video that isn't just poking fun and going, haha, funny joke, am I right, my fellow YouTubers? Everything else has been, frankly, stuck very far in like the 1920s.
I wonder if they'll ask her that.
Honestly, I would love it if somebody found a second partner. You know, dividing time between all 5 people and making sure everyone feels included is kind of difficult.
Yeah, I'm sure having 5 guys around you to do everything you want them to do is very difficult for you. Woman chooses polyamorous relationship. Woman most affected. Why do I get the feeling that all of you share pretty similar feelings about things like the president, feminism, and culture?
A set of people who together have managed to coexist for a long amount of time have similar political views. Who would have fucking figured that out? Who would have thunk it? Wow, Growlith, that's my camera you're messing with there. Please. Like, who would have thought that a group of people, right, would have similar political views? You've managed it with 180,000 people in your audience, I'm sure. Nothing's really changed.
Really makes you think.
But there are problems when 4 men are vying for just one woman's attention.
How often do you experience jealousy in the relationship?
Regretfully, a lot of the time.
Yeah, no shit. No fucking shit you feel it a lot because there's 5 guys. I love their fucking fries. 5 guys and 1 girl.
Wait, weren't you the idiot making fun of them for saying that it was a quadro relationship, like 4 people in a relationship? And then you were just spending the entire video making fun of, is it actually 5 people? I don't get it. And then here, you fuck it up yourself. Dude, there's this thing called a teleprompter. It can help a lot. I don't personally use one, but I know people who do, and it can help you not make dumb mistakes like this.
So you're gonna get a lot of jealousy. I wonder if really soy fistfights ever break out in that house.
But
soy fistfights. Soy fistfights. So this guy actually... Terror, what are you doing? Oh, God. They're going to go at it. They're going to go at it. Soy fistfights. I don't know what I'm supposed to take from that. Oh, I do know. Growlithe, come here. Do not bark at Terror. Growlithe. Holy crap. Growly girl, come here. Come on. Come here. You do not need to be attacking Terror. She has done no wrong, and you are a pain. But you're a cute pain, and I love you. But again, when I'm looking at this, all I'm seeing is a child in an adult's body screaming and yelling that people are different than him, and he can't take it. And because they're different than him, they must embody every single thing that people that are different than him can embody to make them the enemies. Like, disagreeing with the president. Disagreeing with... Growlithe. Is that so? Is that so? Come on, Growly. Come on. It's just a cat. It's just the cat. It's the cat. Come here. Come here. Enjoy. There we go. As long as I'm playing tug of war with her, I can maybe do content. But again, all I hear is a child who is in an adult's body screaming and yelling that people around him are different, and because they're different, they must embody all the things that make people who are around him that are different enemies. Like having the same opinion on the president that must differ from his. Having an opinion on feminism that must differ from his. Also, as of 10 minutes ago, Echo Zulu followed. Thank you very much. And I want to also thank Worcester Sauce for following. I use Worcester in a lot of recipes, and so I'm a big fan. I don't even know you, and I'm already a big fan. Playing to the lowest common denominator. Yep. Unfortunately, there are more of the lowest common denominator in the populace than anybody else. So, of course, playing to that particular fiddle is generally pretty lucrative.
Thankfully, there are a couple of healthy ways to deal with it. Primarily just talking to each other.
We have a tendency to talk around the moment of, hey, I need some time with Tori, rather than actually saying it outright.
So they really can't even tell each other, hey, I need a fucking bust a nut. Where's Tori at? They can't even say that.
Oh my god, that's the take you took from that? You know there's more to sex than just busting a nut, right? I hope you understand that. Or, you know what? Let's go ahead and use Sinatra Says's argumentation method, right? Let's go ahead and use his method of argumentation. Wow, I wasn't aware that you were so bad at sex that you thought that the only purpose of it was to bust a nut. You know what? It makes sense, though. You hide behind an avatar. You must be that bad at sex. It makes sense. It all does. Bear in mind, again, I'm being facetious. Facetious. I hate that word. It's a useful word. It's a good word. I'm joking. There we go. But it's the same style of argument that he's using. And it sounds freaking stupid when it comes from my mouth, because it is.
That to each other. They have to talk around it. I don't understand. I'm honestly trying to put...
No, you're not.
Put myself in the mentality of one of these guys. And I can't do it.
So, would you ever consider a romantic relationship with each other?
I don't really know, to be honest.
Didn't you already say that there is none of that? Why is it? Oh, I don't know, maybe. No.
For the same reason that if you are dating anybody, said get a baby gate for the doggo, you'll thank me later. She's way too smart to let a baby gate, and by way too smart, I mean she's not that smart, really, to let a baby gate get in her way. She'll just jump over the thing. She also will freak out. Like, with the baby gate, she'll stand at the other end and, like, start barking at us. Because she does that with actual gates. Also, I think dog hair is near my nose because I keep on having to wipe it away. But it's like when you and let's take two hypothetical people. Let's take Tom and Stacy, right? Tom and Stacy, they like each other. They know they do. So they've gone on like a date, but realistically, they're just doing a lot of talking on the internet. They aren't officially a couple. They aren't dating. And when asked, hey, do you guys have a romantic relationship? They're like, I don't know. Maybe eventually. Maybe one day. Who knows? That's just a fucking monogamous couple, or not even a couple, just two people who are monogamous in this hypothetical, and it's a guy and a girl, so your homophobic ass can at least relate to it. They don't know. This happens all the time with normal fucking people. At least people you consider normal. I don't get how it's suddenly different here.
Ow. Ugh. Ugh.
I guess I'd be...
Is that literally the only argument he has? It's gay! That's all I get. That's the argument. Every time. He screams in gay is bad. Like, that's all I hear. Constantly. Just scream. And I'm sorry for the... I should have earphone warned. But just... the entire time, it's just, oh no, it's gay. I don't get it. It's horrible. It's disgusting. Ah! When I stub my toe, like, yeah, that's a sound that you make when you stub your toe. Someone on Twitch clip Cirrus's re. Do it. Fucking do it. Twitter post it. Make it viral so somebody asks what the context is.
I'm open to it, but I'm not gonna go after it.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay.
I know Ethan...
Okay, so what you're doing here, and I know I just clicked your thing for some reason. So what you're doing here is a really agitating tactic where you don't actually say something, but you do the, you let a pregnant pause be there. And that pregnant pause is there so that your audience will reflect. And because you've said nothing, you're hoping that your audience will reflect and agree with your position. It's a very, very common tactic where you're just like, I don't even have to say anything. I don't have to do anything about that. I don't even have to talk about that. You're assuming your audience already agrees with you. Insofar as your argument even had substance to agree with in the first place.
And I sort of tried back in high school, and that kind of flopped really fast.
Man, this is a weird one, to be sure. This is pretty unusual. I mean, good for you and Ethan for trying, but I really don't know what to say to that. I hope it works out next time.
And now this 5-way relationship.
Oh, he's so nice. He hopes it works out next time.
Is about to be joined by an additional member.
Alright, and then here we have the nursery.
I know we've kind of been having a little bit of fun until now, but that's a pretty serious thing. This poor kid is not going to know who his dad is because you don't know, and he's going to...
Yes, they fucking do! It's in the video, you dipshit! They were playing Call of Cthulhu. Hold on. Earbud warning. Oh, it says the clip is no longer available. Why is it saying the clip is no longer available? The Twitch clip didn't work. Try it again. Try it again. I'm sorry. But they say in the video itself that they know who the father is. Also, thank you, Casey-tron. Put Casey-tron in LCS. I don't think Casey-tron would do well in LCS. I don't. She's if memory serves, she's like a decent diamond player at best. Not following for long. Fair enough. But I don't... In the video itself, because I've seen the original video, in the video itself, they do specifically say who the father is. They do. But Casey-tron says, just following to say you're in a bad place to criticize shit. So how am I in a bad place to criticize shit? Like, I'm sure, why not? Look at yourself, okay? Hi, am human being. How are you? How are you doing today? You seem like you are also a fellow human being, or at least I'd assume that. It's the first time I've gotten a shit poster on Twitch. You're fat. Yeah, cool. That's news. That's completely news to me. I mean, yeah, I'm also ugly. What? Obviously unkept. I mean, this has to do more with being in a house with multiple animals, realistically. Like, they get into everything. There is a problem. Okay, cool. Obviously, there's a problem. Would you like to say what the problem is? Like, if you have the psychic powers of Sinatra Says, I'd assume you have them, right? Like, yeah, I'm fat and ugly. Cool. You did it. You nailed it. You gave me that information that I didn't already know. Congratulations. You managed it. It's obvious. Anyone can see. You're doing the same thing. Anyone can see. It's obvious. No, I want you to tell me. I want you to, A, give me something of substance. Something to latch onto. Something to talk about. And B, more importantly than that, realistically, the more important thing is you're not saying anything fucking creative. Like, this is the same. Hey, Growlith. Get this. Grab it. At least she's not barking. You know, it's not just that. You don't want to change, okay? Change what? Like, yeah, I'm ugly and fat. I can't change my genetics that made the ugly part happen, and the fat I am working on, but again, what does that actually change about anything? Otherwise, there would be a hint that you could work out those issues. How have you actually managed to figure out any of that? Like, where did you get that there are issues that are or aren't being worked on? Where did you figure that? How did you figure out? You don't see anything pointed to that. How? With like intuition is often wrong. Tell you what, Casey-tron, or put Casey-tron in LCS. Obviously, you've got some interpersonal issues to work out. If you are wanting to have a conversation, I am more than willing to have a conversation with you. You've obviously got some issues. So let's see if we can work those out. Where's my... There it is. Do you have a Discord? Because if you do, we can have a chat. They're saying, haha. Okay, cool. So it's not happening. That's fine. And that's because you're a coward. I have no problem with that. Goodbye. Oh, Just time out. There you go. So, that said, you can use your mouth words for a debate. You can have a conversation like that, or you can be a coward. But here's the thing. Once I've identified that you're a coward, then I don't deal with you anymore. That's just how it goes. Like, I'm sorry that your parents didn't love you enough. I get it. That's really bad and really disheartening. But I understand. And I understand that because of that, you lash out at people on the internet. But it gets better. It really does. This life only sucks once. Yeah, you're right. We did do it. We did do a ban hammer. We have to do it. The only problem is Streamlabs has been operating really slow, so like getting the ban hammer to happen is really hard. But here we go. The ban hammer, it happened. Anywho. Now that we're here. Tony Designs, I disagreed with Cirrus respectively and he gave me a wrench. Frustrated says, you should have told Casey that your dad could beat up their dad. I mean, if we're going to engage in the insults that we use when we're on the playground, then yeah, that would be a way to do it. You're not wrong. But still. But still. So you can make it work with suboptimal look if you can be confident enough so it does make it look decently. I mean, yeah, I do have a suboptimal look. It's fucking ugly. That's why I hide behind a cartoon. Like, that's not... Like, I hide behind a cartoon to keep my ugly mug away from you guys. It's honestly a public service. Like, taxes should go into me doing that. Anyway, let's continue with Sinatra.
To be bullied his whole fucking life by people going, hey, I saw that documentary, your mom's a whore. That poor kid. That poor fucking kid.
And you realize that you're, like, aiding in that, right? Like, you're the reason that is happening. You're part of that problem. That's... like, that poor kid's gonna be bullied probably because people who watch my content are going to look at that kid. Oh, maybe I don't actually care about that kid that much. Maybe I'm just a piece of shit. Like, that's usually how this happens, right? Also, Autobot Starscream asked, did somebody get banned? No. Somebody got banned on the, or timed out, actually. They're not banned. They're not actually banned. They're timed out over on the Twitch stream, because I am streaming to both YouTube and Twitch. So their conversation was happening in the side chat. You can see the side chat here alongside everything else. And they were deciding to be a child, basically. So I decided to treat them like a child, put them in timeout. I'm not going to ban them for that. No, you don't ban children for being idiots. You put them in timeout so they learn their lesson.
You doomed him. You doomed that child. And if it's a girl, holy shit, she's going to grow up knowing that that is the norm.
So...
Wait. It's worse if she's a girl? I wonder what type of world we would be constructing where bullying would be worse on females. I wonder how that would happen. Weird. But okay.
I am currently about 23, 24 weeks pregnant. We found out a couple weeks ago that we're having a girl. We're very excited.
Dear God, that's even worse than a boy. Because a girl is going to grow up thinking that what you're doing is the norm.
The boy would think that too! There'd be no fucking difference! What? Oh my God. Is this what I have to do to get 180,000 subs? Do I have to actually be A, piece of human garbage, and B, an idiot? Is that what I have to do? Like, are those the things that I have to do to gain that level of notoriety? Which also leads to that level of patronage and monetization. Oh, right. Never mind. I would lose YouTube monetization. I'd lose the, like, $500 they send me. That would suck. That's a couple grocery bills. Like, that would be not ideal, but still. Just, come on, Sinatra. We got 5 more minutes of your video. We can get through this.
She's going to come
together
home one day with 5 boyfriends and be like, oh, look, I'm just like you, mommy. Oh,
that's not how polyamory works. You don't just suddenly magically have 5 boyfriends, like, boom. Like, that's not how this works. Screwbucket says, Sirs, I think he thinks it's worse because he seems to view this relationship as entirely a sex thing. And as a girl, this... Oh, yeah, because it would make her promiscuous. That makes sense. Insofar as it makes sense within that frame. But just still.
No.
And so who's the father of the baby?
So Chris is the biological father.
You know, I would have guessed that too. Honestly, I would have guessed that. Because he looks the least soy-ish out of the whole...
This is the state of YouTube in 2019. I mean, it's 2020 now, but this was made in 2019. People still using the debunked soy shit. Like, Eighth Bomber Guy did a huge dissertation on this. Which chat is appearing in the video? Both. Like, both the Twitch chat and the YouTube chat are appearing in the video at the same time. Is polyamory like a crime in the United States? You decided to be that and suddenly you spawn 4 partners and an assault rifle. Can we do that? Just like, hey, I'm Polly now. 4 partners just spawned to do all your laundry, and suddenly you have guns. Like, can we do that? That would be great. Except I still end up doing dishes and other stuff around the house, which is fine because we're all living in the same fucking house. Of course, we all have chores. But like, it's so agitating to hear dumb shit like this.
Whole group. Imagine being the husband and being like, my wife is carrying another man's baby. Oof.
So let's go ahead and talk about what would happen in a regular monogamous relationship for this, right? So you find a girl who just got out of a relationship with someone, and she's pregnant with their child, but you and this person have known each other for years, and you finally have a chance to date, and you're helping this person get over a lot of their issues, and you two are growing up and going to raise not growing up, but you guys are going to grow your relationship together while this person just circumstantially happens to be carrying somebody else's child. That happens all the fucking time. There's nothing wrong with that either. Like, oh my gosh. Also, the soy thing with the soy thing is that soy contains estrogen. The problem is that plant estrogen is metabolized completely differently than the estrogen that your body actually like produces, which means that when your body consumes estrogen from plants, your body breaks them down to where they actually don't do anything. Also, many of the popular items from the hypermasculinity, go woke, go broke crowd, things like Brain Force, also contain like triple your daily amount of estrogen. So it's really big brain takes. Big fucking brain takes.
We just know that because of timing.
I mean, he looks pretty proud of himself. He is the king of the soy, but the rest of those guys don't look too happy about it.
Is that perhaps because they're not used to being on camera? Like, as an example, if I wasn't very experienced being on camera, I might talk like this, and I might just keep my mouth in a neutral position, and I might talk like this at all times because I really don't know how to do any better than that. Like, this is, as opposed to the animated way that I can move my face right now because I'm used to being on camera. Like, my first experience being on camera was being on the fucking news more than once. I've dealt with cameras for a long time, and I wasn't that great at it when I started my channel. Actually, no, that wasn't my first experience with the camera. My first experience with the camera was my first few YouTube channels that failed, and then doing the stuff on the news, and then this channel. What did I do? So there was an organization called Pokemon Go Atlanta when Pokemon Go first came out that held events in Marietta Square and in another park, Piedmont Park, down south. They had like a bar crawl as well that was done. I was one of the founding members of that organization, and so I actually appeared on the news with some of the other founding members of that organization to talk with, I forget which news organization it was, but we actually spoke like right outside of Marietta Pizza Co. with the news, and then again did it later on in the night, few weeks later. When they were filming the people being around Marietta Square at like 3 a.m, I was out there like picking up trash because I didn't want the cops to come and stop people from playing Pokemon Go. So I was picking up the trash around the area so that nobody would have they're littering everywhere excuse to kick people out of playing Pokemon Go. That was also a thing that I wanted to do because I was trying to represent that organization as best I could. So yeah, no, I've been on the news a good few times, all in a positive light. Again, I've dealt with cameras. I know what it's like when you haven't dealt with a camera before. The first few times you put it on, you aren't as animated. You aren't as aware of the fact that you need to stare at the lens. I still don't stare at the lens as much as I should, and I've been doing this for years. Like, if you are not used to the camera thing, you're gonna look like that. In fact, actually, if you guys want, hold up. I can find it. Let me find... I'll actually find you the photo that I grabbed from when I was on the news. Give me 1 second. I can find it. At least I think I can. Maybe, possibly. Ah, yep. Here we go. So if you guys want to see a younger me, fully shaved, and definitely... Oh, CBS 46 was the news organization that grabbed us. Here, evidence of my claim. Because I'm not going to lie to you guys. Give me 1 second. Just had to grab that screenshot. Here you go. This was years ago, but... And of course I'm staring at my phone during this. Because professionalism. But point is, when you are not super experienced dealing with cameras, you don't know how to do this. Obviously, the other people here who I was working with at the time did have a little more experience with cameras than I did. But point being, this is normal. This is a thing that happens when you're not super experienced with camera work. This is pre-evolution. Hold on. CBS 46 Pokemon Go. 1 sec. Do. I think this is it, right? Is this one it? I want to say it is. You said you wanted to see the actual newscast.
Well, now at 5:30, what did you do this Labor Day? Did you go out looking for a sale, perhaps? Springs to
a Metapod. Okay, he's looking for... These are all people playing Pokemon. And right now, had a mothership...
No,
Pokemon
this isn't going to be the right one. This is
30 seconds. Once to shower for an hour, and then I went home once to
That's
sleep
from a
for...
different area in... Not Marietta.
Yes!
No, hold on. Let's see here. It's weird looking at this stuff and actually, like, knowing that I was there, seeing the newscasters in many of these areas. That's weird. It's a weird, surreal feeling. So hold on. Let me see if I can find... It's got to be here, right? No. Images. Sorry, I'm trying to find it. But I don't see it. I can't find the old news article. If somebody else is better at finding news stuff, that would be great. But I am really bad at this. Apparently so. Dude, there's the man climbs the pole. This one was interesting. Not interesting, but, like, this guy kind of upset me. Where this guy, like, got onto a pole and actually tried... I think this was a Team Valor guy. Like, this guy was screaming Team Valor from the top of the pole, if memory serves. Because I remember, like, being upset that this happened. Hold on. Why is there no audio? Yeah, but that was in Marietta Square. I was living in Marietta at the time when that happened, and I was there at that when that shit broke down. That was an awkward time. But that still is not the one that I am looking for. Do. Let's see. Aha! I think this is it. Oh, okay. Cool. That's cool. I think I found it, but the page you're looking for cannot be found. It has been moved. It has been sent elsewhere. Okay. Sure. That upsets me. You know what? I blame Team Valor. I blame Team Valor. I think it's actually Team Valor's fault that happened. That clip is gone because Team Valor did it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. If you're a Team Valor player, you are responsible for the removal of this clip that I desperately needed to find. That said, apparently the clip has been sent to me. Earbud warning. It's gay! That's all I get. Why am I laughing at that? I shouldn't be. That was really bad. Okay. Sarah, so you're Team Mystic? Of course I'm Team Mystic. I'm dating a bunch of Team Instincts, but I'm Team Mystic. Anywho, that said, I do think that we are at a point where I need to go ahead and close out the stream, as much as I don't want to close out the stream right now. But I did say that I was only going to be on for another 30 or so minutes. That's what I've done. So, I do want to thank everybody for sticking around and watching the stream where we got so far. I want to thank everyone who has put in donations during the course of the stream. Not only the donations that have gone towards the bills, but also the donations that have gone through in Super Chat. I won't see those for a while because that's what YouTube does, but they still help immensely whenever YouTube decides to pay me. That said, thank you guys for sticking around. I've enjoyed spending this time with everybody. And I'm sorry we didn't get to finish the Sinatra Says video, but other things happened. And honestly, they were more entertaining. Like, let's be fair. Sinatra wasn't very entertaining. But I hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your days.